Stream to all. Stream to all. Mute that shit. That's muted. Okay, it looks like we're live on all platforms. We are live.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, not much is happening in the news right now. Like I was saying, I guess we'll just blast through the headlines real quick. We got Mallory McMarrow ends her U.S. Senate campaign, which pretty much, in my opinion, is gonna lead to Abdul El Sayed as probably another like leftist candidate that wins, which is cool, good. Maybe something can happen electorally. I'm pessimistic on this, but like we can hope.
Yeah.
This one is just kind of like, of course. Pentagon restores mandatory flu shots for all recruits as boot camp outbreaks Ickens nearly 300. Who fucking would have guessed?
This my whole thing with like progressive candidates in the DSA and everything is like, if our country actually has the necessary change through electoral politics, I would love that. I would love to be wrong about
Same.
that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just like I don't really know if that's a thing that can happen. And then yeah, this is just, I mean, stupid hurts, I guess.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I kind of thought, I'm gonna be real, I think it's funny that it's just like regular sickness. I thought what was gonna happen is we were gonna start seeing like massive hepatitis A outbreaks or some shit like we see in prisons. Since that's like the one that can like survive on surfaces and shit.
yeah.
So I thought we were
I
gonna
mean,
get some more egregious.
yeah, I mean, we still have high threats of like Ebola and other shit coming to Memphis too, or I mean,
Yeah.
coming to America too. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're not necessarily out of that shit.
And
Also, like out in the pig area, like the pig arena, we're talking military, National Guard, police, everything. The most common cause of death is literally heart disease and COVID-19. So like,
oh yeah, no, this was something that was kind of wild. I looked it up. So like, of course, I'm in a smaller area. Unlike the Memphis Police Department, which I think has like what 2,800 officers. My area only has 180, right? But I was
mhm.
doing some look into this because there was like an article commemorating fallen officers. I thought it was funny because it was only commemorating 3 officers, right? Um,
Yeah.
there have been 3 on-duty officer deaths in my city in 100 years. 3.
I mean, yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, it's insane. And I think all 3 of them were car crashes.
That's the most common way they die in the line of duty is like pursuit. So
Yeah. It's like they basically no cops ever get shot really. Like if you're just talking statistically, it's basically 0. Um
in the entire country, it's definitely less than 100. I think it might be like 50 or something per year.
yeah, meanwhile you're right.
Maybe.
Like heart attack is historically the number 1 during COVID. COVID took the gold. That's fallen down quite a bit since we have like treatments now. But yeah, COVID was taking the gold for killing cops for a while. Uh yeah, and just to bounce back on the candidate thing, I agree, like just to say like yeah, it would be great. And the only reason I say we might as well is because we've talked about it before is voting takes literally no effort. So just like do it, and if it does something awesome, it saves a lot of pain, suffering, and grief if it actually does something. But ultimately it's probably just gonna have to be more like a breaking point thing where like the popularity grows for this, which leads to outside of electoral revolution, is kind of how I see it. Is it just like creates a shifting wind that empowers non-electoral movement. And hopefully we get some of these candidates are really goated, like Mamdani. I know this was kind of a stupid headline. We'll just bring it up, but like I'm sure you saw people trying to like cancel Mamdani for saying put your thermostats up to 78, right?
I did not see people trying to they dude, they're trying to cancel Mamdani over literally everything. I can't remember what news organization it was, but I saw someone make a reel about it where they were like, "This is just absurd," and it's like every single article they have is like, "Mamdani jumps in pool with suit on. Mamdani does this. Mamdani does that." It's like, guys,
Yeah, no, they
shut.
attack him in the same stupid ways that they attack like Hassan and stuff. But it's just because like they don't have real things you can attack them on. Um, and it's like okay, he said that, and you can maybe like say that that sucks to try and tell people that they have to take the load on themselves instead of blaming the power companies who are the reason for this. But also he did blame the power companies and even just started like a campaign and endorse this what is it, socio environment dot NYC or something, um which what is an org trying to basically nationalize the power service in New York.
Yeah,
So on one hand, he was like, okay, given our current circumstance, we need to do this, right? But also, let's make sure we don't need to do this in the future by making this a public good thing, because it is. It should be. And I think that's the correct messaging, being like, okay, this is given our circumstance what we have to do, but also let's try and make sure it's not what we have to do later, because it's bullshit that we have to do this. And also,
I
like,
mean,
you
yeah, that
can kind of solve things like the AI centers if you nationalize power services in areas. You can just be like, okay, build your center. You're not getting public power. You're going to have to build your own power source.
that would be fucking hilarious.
It would be. Same thing for water. If you nationalize the water services, which you should, then you could be like, okay, fine, you forced your way into building this thing, and we can't stop you from building this thing. Good luck getting water. Good luck getting power. You're gonna have to figure that shit on your own.
Yeah,
Or maybe they do pay for it, but because it's a public good thing, they have to pay, you charge them like outlandish rates to make sure that you can actually use that money to expand infrastructure so that it doesn't impact regular people. You could do that too. Basically like suck them dry, which is definitely what should happen. But yeah, since really fucking honestly, I'd say we could maybe hit the drama thing real quick. I guess who really cares about this, but I saw that Destiny. I never fucking pay attention to what Destiny does, but Destiny like actively called out to brigade news reporters and journalists that are giving positive interviews to like Hassan or like Mamdami and shit.
none of them do that anyway.
Right? It's like like fucking no one gives them the positive coverage. It's more that they're just so
Just
good at
because they can,
spinning.
yeah, just because they can get interviewed and turn it into something positive because they can answer the questions so well because they're so used to people trying to like ask them the same stupid ass fucking questions doesn't mean people are giving them favorable interviews. 99% of interviews I see of these people, the interviewers are clearly trying to get them in some sort of gotcha or something.
Oh, absolutely, and they're just used to it. You're right. It's because they've dodged the same stupid talking point like 5,000 times per year. Uh, it,
Yeah.
I think the only thing that was extra deranged about this like call to action he gave to his like cult members is that he said at the end of it, someone's going to die at the end of this. And it's just like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, you actually want to what like lol cow someone into death or something? You want to actually cyber police someone into dying, or like dock someone so hard that their every location is always known, and then one of your psychopaths does a murder?
Dude, those communities are so strange to me. I don't even get it, honestly. Like the whole Destiny community. Because it's very, very rare that I interact with any of his content or like see anything from him. But like the occasional times I will see something from him, it's like him in a debate and he's debating someone so insane that it's like, oh, this guy seems like a very reasonable
Mm-hmm.
person, you know? And
100%.
then I just hear like any news about it and I'm like, why are you so insane?
It
How is this take?
Yeah, part of it I honestly think is like I think at his core he probably has like some pretty normal, like I want people to be taken care of at least in the liberal sense. Uh like I ideals, but he's more egotistical than he is compassionate. So he's more upset that like things are not, that he is not this big like talking piece, that he is not this like kingmaker, he is not this big political celebrity, and it seems to be like more that he's just like ego hurt more than it is that he actually cares about like positive stuff, because he like I don't know, even if I was a small time creator in a political space, I would just be happy that my team is making strides, or that progress is being made, or that like, I mean, even if you're just like you don't believe in any of that, but you're just a Trump hater, you should still
Yeah.
at least be happy that his enemies are stronger.
Yeah.
But you're too caught up in your own feelings, I guess. Um, yeah, I guess that's really it. So, I want to shoot through at least a couple minutes of this Hassan interview with Professor Zhang. Um, this guy is like a game theorist, uh, professor who has made some like really really good political predictions with a really good track record over like the last 10 years. The guy has a really good prediction track record. And I watched this whole interview, and I think it's mostly funny because it goes just so off the rails, and it turns out this guy is actually just the luckiest man ever, because he is cuckoo crazy. He is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs crazy.
No, he's just tapped into the occult and he knows about the cabal running our world and knows what their intentions are because he's tapped into the god mind or whatever the fuck.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll watch the intro, then skip ahead a little, just so we can, because the intro here explains who he is and what he does pretty well.
All right. I'm now going to be talking to Professor Jong, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. Hello, Professor Jong. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Wow. Okay.
You
What
can
an
hear me?
honor. What an honor to have you
Oh,
here.
no, it's
A
a pleasure.
big time fan, first time listener. That's what we say in radio. Which this is not. Hold on. I'm gonna fix. I'm doing a real time live production.
Let's
You are
skip ahead a little
thank
to
you.
where
So,
he's actually on
of
screen. There we
Dugan
go.
and many others. Very excited to have you here. You did an interview with Breaking Points. Longtime fan of your work. Let's get right into it. What's the next prediction? What's coming up?
Um, my next prediction, my big prediction is that I think Trump will get a third term.
Okay, that's a little
Yeah.
wild. All right. What makes you say that?
Well, first of all, he and his family have been stealing billions of dollars. That's a lot of corruption, and it's really unprecedented. So if he were to leave the office in 2028, you would imagine the first thing that any new administration would do is conduct an investigation because it'd be very popular among the American people. I also live in China, so I know how these things work. Basically, when someone gets in office and he's behaving like a tyrant, it usually means he's a tyrant. And it usually means he has no intention of ever leaving office. So I think that given his behavior, I think Trump is intent on a third term.
I think that's so. That's like his first prediction thing, and they just talk about that for a second. But given his track record, I kind of actually think he might. He's definitely gonna try his hardest because it's
Yeah, that's very reasonable prediction, honestly. I don't think that's an insane prediction.
me neither.
Uh,
Like, yeah,
I mean, we see him like trying multiple avenues of doing basically treason and voter fraud. So he's already been, we've been talking about having ICE at voting boxes. We've been talking about railroading a fraudulent voting case in Atlanta. We've been talking about, being able to potentially get rid of birthright citizenship, which just got stopped. But that was definitely an avenue for him to steal an election. I mean, he's clearly willing to go to whatever lengths necessary. So, and like he said too, I mean, the guy's already stolen multi billions of dollars from the American people through his presidency. He doesn't really have any sort of like moral code or anything. So, it's 100% something he would try and do. Yeah.
yeah. The question is just like, and he's been wildly successful just railroading these things through in general. So I could see him just continue to be successful because it turns out America has literally zero game plan for someone just going, "I'm king now." It's crazy.
To be clear, like that's not a new problem. Like we saw all the way. I never hear anyone talk about this, right? But all the way back when Andrew Jackson was president,
Yep.
right? There was gold, and there was literally a fucking vote, and Congress said like, no, we've already pushed these Native Americans onto these tribal lands. Like we're not going to push them out of the things that we already pushed them to just to get gold, right? And then Andrew Jackson just straight up was like, yeah, no, we are. Every citizen, you are legally allowed to show up to tribal land and fucking force them off with a shotgun, and I will not send the militia. I will not send anyone to stop you. I actually encourage you to go get that gold, bro. And then what happened? They all got pushed off their land again.
Yep.
And we made Native Americans move again because we wanted the gold that was on their land.
And what was it the Whig Party that opposed Andrew Jackson, or am I misremembering that? The one that formed up to try and stop him, was it called the Whig Party?
That might have been it might be the Whig Party. I can't really remember, honestly, all the weird parties back then.
I know,
But
but I remember there was a party that formed to oppose Andrew Jackson, and the only identity they had, much similar to the Democratic Party right now, was just being not Andrew Jackson. And because of that, they suffered crushing defeats despite Andrew Jackson being wildly unpopular and doing crimes. So, yeah, you're right. We have historical precedent for, like, you just being able to get away with this shit. So,
yeah.
it's not that crazy. I guess we'll cut to the game theory part. Just listen to him talk about that for a second because it is kind of like the only real basis for his predictions, which is a little interesting.
You're famous for your predictions. You use game theory. A lot of people have called you out on it. I don't fully understand how game theory factors into your predictions.
Oh, what is it? Why need come
Do
here.
you mind elaborating on how game theory factors into your predictions on geopolitical events?
Right. So my big thing is that the world is a game, and we can treat nation states as players in this game, and each nation state has a distinct personality. determined by its geography and by its history. And this distinct personality determines how it interacts with the world. So, for example, the United States is particularly aggressive. China is not aggressive, and ultimately, each player is going to engage in its optimal strategy, right? So rather than like look at what people say, look at what people do, just think about like if this game were to continue, what is the optimal strategy? And then the player would adapt this optimal strategy over time, right? So if you were to go back, 2 years ago, and you were to survey American politicians and Donald Trump, would you go invade Iran? They'd be like, of course not. That's insane. Why would we do that? But they end up invading Iran because it is at this point in American history the optimal strategy in order to maintain American hegemony around the world. So that's a brief introduction to game theory.
Okay. So,
And honestly, that makes a lot of sense just looking at that and that like analysis. And it is kind of like I'd say his ability to identify countries' personalities is pretty accurate. And I think he's probably making the majority of his predictions on this, and then he's also just a kook. But this does make sense because I'd say like China, like he said, is not aggressive politically. They are more concerned about maintaining, and he talks about this a lot in the interview, maintaining stability globally because they know they outperform during stability. So which makes sense. Like, why would you want the board shaken up if you're already the best player on the board?
Yeah.
You don't want to shake things up by starting wars and whatnot, because that shakes up the board and creates a lot of chaos and unpredictability. Meanwhile, America, the only way we maintain hegemony is by shaking up the board so no one else can have a stable footing.
Yeah.
So it does kind of make sense that the moment where we feel like we're losing, we're just like, okay, it's time to fuck someone up.
The classic American playbook.
Yeah. So I think that like short intro is pretty good on the game theory of just being like it makes a lot of sense there. Let's see. Where I wanted to cut ahead to where he starts getting kooky now, because I think this is more just interesting and funny. Is where he starts getting kooky. I think it was maybe when he starts talking about Marxism.
I mean, I believe in dialectical materialism. So my understanding of the world revolves around. In some ways, it's not dissimilar to game theory. Self-interest on the basis of class, and how societies are organized around the means of production, and everything is downstream from that. But I do think that there are some spiritual and ideological ways of thinking that might lead people astray. But I think ultimately is still it's still the self-interest of the capital owning class. But it seems like you were not a believer in Marxist theory or Marxist thought at all.
I'm sympathetic. So if you actually research Kabbalah, you would appreciate that dialectic materialism comes from the Kabbalah, right? So if you look at Marx and his genealogy, both his maternal
Is that?
Yeah, okay, so he puts a little blurb on here we can see. It is an esoteric method, discipline, and school of thought in Jewish mysticism. It forms the foundation of mystical religious interpretations within Judaism. A traditional Kabbalist is called a makabal, or receiver.
So he's just on some anti-Semitic shit.
No, he's saying he believes in this. Like, he himself believes in this Jewish mysticism stuff. And that everything, it is a little anti-Semitic too, because like he's saying he believes it, but it's because he again, the anti-Semitic part, he does kind of think Jews run the world, it seems, and that the reason he believes in Kabbalah is because you need to understand Kabbalah to be able to realistically interpret the like game theory function of the world.
Okay.
So you're right, it is anti-Semitic, but he's not like vindictively anti-Semitic. He's just a kook. Yeah, he is being anti-Semitic, but in more just like a prejudice type of way.
Yeah.
So if you look at Marx and his genealogy,
And when he said that, he's talking about how Marx is Jewish. Like, so yeah, it is a little. He's saying that Marxism comes from Kabbalah because he's Jewish, basically, even though Marx was secular.
both his maternal and paternal sides of the family, they come from several generations of rabbis. The guy's an aristocrat. Like just go and look at his Wikipedia page. He comes from like
he is Jewish, but he's also very critical of religion in general, and I do feel like the philosophical basis comes from Hegel and not Kabbalah. But maybe I misunderstood
right,
it.
right. So I mean, my first point is that you're still influenced by your environment, right? I mean, if your parents, your grandparents are talking about Kabbalah every single day, you could reject that, but it's still going to influence how you perceive the world. That's point one. And
I just
then
like Hassan's faces here because he starts going, oh. But no, like, what he's saying on the surface sounds reasonable. He's definitely good at, like, portraying this in a way that makes it sound like it's not kookery. But, like, let's be real, the way Marx was affected by that was by being secular.
Yeah.
You don't, he specifically tried to pull the religious stuff out because he realized how it was blinding aspects of class and the struggle between class.
I mean, it's just some people have that response. He's right. It does shape a little bit of who you become because some people do have that response when they're kind of like introduced to religion. Like, I went to a Catholic school, and that's kind of what made me really secular. Is I kind of just experienced going to Catholic school, and I felt it to be very irrational and illogical, the vast majority of the people, especially when I would question things or ask questions about stuff. And it just led me to be like, all right, this is kind of a bunch of quackery that seems to just be like a distraction from what's actually fucking happening in the world.
Yeah. And I would also say it's maybe I think it's maybe a little self-aggrandizing to assume other intellectuals who come from religious backgrounds have not done any introspection to self-analyze how their religious backgrounds are affecting things. Because I'd say anyone, especially people in like fields of philosophy like Marx, are probably deeply introspective. Now, of course, we can look at the bodies of works of some like philosophers and see how they did not try to uh, divest from those origins at all, and actively try to interwork them into their philosophical work. But I think it's pretty obvious when you like as readers of that history of when you can see when they're even intentionally or trying to obfuscate that influence, because like it's kind of hard to hide that influence, especially when
100%.
you have 200 years of essentially analysis on it. But
point.
yeah, let's skip forward a little more because he starts fucking going real fucking crazy in the Trump attack Iran.
Geopolitical enemy, and they wanted to tariff, and then outside of that, I think he wanted to around rest of the world
We want
rather
Professor
that
Zhang
with
to talk.
China
Hassan,
a
you make too much sense
them,
here.
and they
Tried really hard. Donald Trump is in his first term. They tried really hard to debrief him. Like, there's the presidential daily briefing, and they recognized this guy doesn't actually read. So at first they tried a paragraph, like like instead of one pager, like
This
here,
one's
drop
actually makes too
Fox
much
guy,
sense too,
think
because it actually is a good
Our
explanation.
Joe
Where is
famously
it?
wasn't very. This was and they had inevitably cleared them from against your, but
yeah, it's my favorite. Out of it, felt, and we train our
Okay,
consciousness
wait.
to
Did I
meditate, to
miss the religious diagram thing?
that I think he wanted a and
I thought it was
increase.
inside the Trump attacks Iran, but maybe it's forward. Oh yeah, the
not
spiritual.
been written by a human being. It is just so beautiful, so perfect,
Yes, here
and
it
it
is.
revealed
By
a
human-
deeper truth.
Yeah. We missed a little because we also get to see Hassan's eyes bug out here.
But my first great epiphany was when I was teaching Dante, the Divine Comedy, and
Yeah, the brow furrow here is great, but because so his pushback on this also, like, while light because he wants him to keep talking, I think does make a lot of sense because this guy starts talking about Dante as this divine like story that could not have been written by men, but had to be like influenced by a spiritual embodiment in like Miller. And one of the things that I think Hassan points out that it should be on everyone's mind is that makes this kind of, I think, maybe a lie or maybe some quackery that he's trying to do as some influence that just seems unrealistic to me, is that he says he didn't read Dante until years after his master's. And I find that hard to believe, and Hassan finds that hard to believe, because, like, I read Dante in, like, middle school age. Hassan also read Dante in, like, middle school age. I think most of us read Dante somewhere between the ages of 12 and 16.
I will say I've never read it, and I'm, like I've gone to college and everything. So I don't know. I feel like it just depends on where you are, possibly. Because yeah, I was never told to read it.
Okay, well, that's good to know, actually, because
Honors and AP classes too. So yeah.
yeah, I mean, I guess it just misses some people, but it. I actually quite like Dante. Logan said it's a pretty boring read. I quite like Dante, but I would not go as far to say that a human could not write it. That it's spiritual.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to go on that end of things. But yeah.
it was my first time reading Divine Comedy, and it took me a long time to try to appreciate its beauty, its truth. But when I did, I recognized that this could not have been written by a human being. It is just so beautiful, so perfect,
It
and it
sounds like
revealed
me when
a
I like
deeper
take
truth.
shrooms and watch a
And
movie with the homies.
Exactly, right? Like it's I just took like 8 grams and I'm watching the Transformers movie. It's a nostalgic core of my childhood. It's one of my favorite movies, and I'm just like, humans couldn't have made something this beautiful. I mean, what's the chances that it could have been Orwell's last cinematic appearance? Like, no, that was divine intervention that Orwell was able to be a narrator in this.
Yeah.
And my only conclusion is this was not written by a human being out of his own free will, out of his own experience. A lot of things I felt he was channeling God. I felt he was channeling the universe, and then explaining the truth in poetry. And so the Divine Comedy, what it tells us is that there are two worlds. There's the material world in which we live, and then there's a spiritual world in which our consciousness inhabits. So think of our consciousness as inhabiting in
I just don't know why he would have been blown away by this, because this is like every religion ever. Like, why did he tap into Dante, which is also just, you know, literature based on religion. It's not actual biblical text. If you were to even consider it biblical text, it would be apocrypha. It would be non-canon. So it's odd to me. It's odd to me that he got so fixated on this. But I don't know. I like Dante. I think I'm a personal big fan of Dante. I'm a personal fan of a lot of religious based literature. I think Paradise Lost is excellent too. But I would not say any of those are divine.
You just don't know.
Yeah, I just don't know, I guess.
Infinite dimensions, and our consciousness is able to access the entire universe if we train our consciousness to meditate, to focus, to be ever present. And once we do that, then great truths reveal to us. And I look deeper into this, and I recognize that this is what every single great religious and spiritual tradition has taught before. That ultimately we are part of the divine, that God is in us, and that we are in God. And as I continue to study more and more history,
Yeah, you
I
can't prove
recognize
God doesn't
that
exist. Checkmate, atheist. You're right, Logan.
most humans throughout most of human history have believed this, and they've structured societies around us. Our world is unique in that we are completely materialistic. And that we
I
didn't
fucking love Hassan's face in this. He's just starting to look around like, am I getting punked?
Because this is honestly really confusing too so far. Like, I'm waiting for him to like make a point, but he hasn't really made a point yet.
No, he's basically just describing the concept of religion.
Yeah.
deny the existence of God, that we deny the existence of the soul, of consciousness. In neuroscience, no one has actually spent any research into the nature of our consciousness, and that's kind of weird because we spend most of our time thinking, right? So, like
Dog, the entire there is so much research and science and philosophy dedicated literally only to thought and consciousness.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I know of multiple studies on thought and consciousness, particularly ones that might even like give credit to what he's thinking that have to do with like DMT and shit. But yeah.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Like,
why haven't we looked into where our thoughts come from, how we structure our thoughts, and how we communicate our ideas? So the Divine Comedy was a great awakening. And then, like, as I studied history, I recognize a great paradox in our history, which is scientists know that our minds, the way that our minds are structured with the frontal lobe, our minds have been this way for the past 200,000 years. But we only have like 10,000 years of recorded history. So what were we doing before the Ice Age? Like were we just like, in caves freezing to death, or running around chasing monkeys? Like what were we doing for 300,000 years? And then you look at places like Göbekli Tepe, in Turkey. You look at places like the Amazon forest, the Grand Valley in the United States. There's so much evidence of previous civilizations in these places before, and so I don't know how.
all the research and we don't know shit about how our brains work compared to other fields of study in biology. I don't even think that's true, because like we've been able to map out brains in like such a like significant way. I think the part that really adds credence to a mystery in how our brains work is the variance in brains, in that not all
Well,
brains work the same.
Well, I would say that it's actually accurate. We don't necessarily know how brains work, as in, we don't necessarily know how consciousness works. We believe that consciousness comes from the brain because all evidence we have points to the fact that consciousness comes from the brain, right? But we actually can't figure out what about the brain creates consciousness because it's such a complicated network. So the best answer we really have is that, like, it's all of it kind of combined. Like it has to be like this perfect kind of,
It's a phenomena of interaction.
Yeah. So we can't really like pinpoint what about the brain actually generates consciousness and like the ability to have like this insight experience and thought and stuff like that. Which like I've read that some humans don't even have that apparently, which is very strange, but whatever.
Oh yeah, no internal thought. They think
Yeah.
in pictures. And then some people can't think in pictures.
Yeah.
Because like I'd say my thoughts are both. I have an
Yeah.
internal voice and an internal like visual aid. But also like
No.
I'm very much in the belief after like going through school in a creative field and kind of like studying creativity, which is definitely like an aspect of consciousness, that creativity is like the way most people think of it is fake. It's an expression of experience. So I can actually, through memory, think about how my thought processes have changed given experiential, like my experiences. Like one example, I'm better at like visual thinking after doing 3D modeling with computers. Because like spending so much time rotating objects and looking at objects from different angles and sculpting them, like has given me like a memory ability to think about an object and like basically like visualize an object and rotate it in my mind. Like I can not just think of an object off memory, but think of an object and rotate it around. And like think about and even change in my mind how lighting is cast on the object, only because I've spent so much physical time drawing, sculpting, and doing other things in where I am engaging with the thought process of how objects are shaped and how looking at them from different angles is like affects them, that I have that like memory muscle to be able to more engagedly operate with that like thought process, and I could not always do that. Or at least not always to the clarity that I can do it now.
Yeah, I've always had like very strong image generation in my head. I don't know. Like I can even just I like daydreaming in TV shows, right? Where like someone daydreams and they literally go to like a different universe and they're like seeing everything. Like that's low key actually what happens when I daydream, you know?
Yeah, I mean, same. Like, it's very like I have very vivid like thoughts. Like, I did read something that was like, uh, to kind of go off of this experiential history affects the way you think it visually. I read a thing that when TV was black and white, most people would recount their visual thoughts being in black and white.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, and because like it would make sense that I think more people now can think and visualize in almost an episodic fashion where you're seeing full-blown almost televised stories in your mind's eye, because most of us have this long vision like experiential history of watching things in that format.
Yeah.
Um, and most of us have watched a lot of things in not just vivid color, but at this point, like animation. Like we live in like animation is more prevalent than it's ever been in human history as like a media that you can consume, which I think also makes one's ability to also think in like non one to one like reality comparatives much stronger.
That has to be one of my pet peeves that some people make is they're like, yeah, I don't watch any sort of animated thing or cartoons, like they're just childish to me. I'm like, so you're telling me fucking BoJack Horseman is childish? Go watch that shit and don't cry. Challenge. I challenge you, go watch that shit and don't cry. fuck right off. Like,
Dude, this is a quick one, like probably a quick watch because each episode's only like 10 minutes and there's only like 20 total episodes. Or maybe 30 now. But have you seen Grendy Tarkov's Primal?
mm-mm.
Oh my god. When you have the time, just watch a couple episodes of Grendy Tarkov's Primal. Make sure to watch it with like good headphones or like something that has a good speaker system because sound's important on this one. There is no dialogue in this show. It is the story of a caveman and a dinosaur going through lands kind of seeking vengeance because both of their families were killed. And it's awesome. The story's basically like could be at its core like a man and his dog story. But it's just caveman and a dinosaur. It's so good. The animation's also great because if you don't know who Grandy Tarkov is, he's the guy who did Samurai Jack.
Oh, yeah.
So the animation is elite. The sound design is elite because everything is told through literal grunts, growls, music, and body language. And it's gorgeous. Like I'd say like no, it is so good. I fucking stan that shit. It's so good. Yeah. But yeah, the stuff like that. You're right. Like there's so many things that are beyond good. One that I saw a little while ago, if you've ever heard about it, that does seem like a children's show because it's almost like close to maybe like Adventure Time or something animation. It's called Time Train.
Never heard of it.
I can't really describe this one without spoiling anything, so I won't, but I'd just say Time Train's incredible. You have to pirate the final season, though, because it got canceled on its final season, even though the final season was entirely made, because it was when like Disney merged with HBO and became like Max, and for some reason they just dropped the licensing for a bunch of shit, so the creators actually leaked the final season online because it was done. It was fully animated, voice acted, and everything. It was 100% finished, but it was never going to see the light of day. And still hasn't had an official release, so you have to pirate the final season. But I'd say that shit is peak too. It is so good, and yeah, it's actually like kind of heart-wrenching.
I wonder how many amazing shows have just been, their endings have just been ruined by fucking TV sloppery, like fucking goddamn streaming and cable and shit like that. Like they're fucking sloppery. Like I feel like so many shows have been rushed to end. They've been randomly canceled before their last season, even though they have like a cult followings. Like I know so many things like that where it's like I can't come up with a reason why the last episode in particular is so goddamn shit. I can't come up with a reason why they wouldn't make another season of it. Like it was a well loved show that did good numbers, like stuff like that, where it's just all you can come up with is some sort of cable or streaming fuckery that got involved.
I hard agree. There's so many shows that I've seen where it's like 9 out of 10 the entire time and even 10 out of 10 sometimes, and then you get to like the last couple episodes or even sometimes literally just the last episode and then it ruins every episode before it. Because
yeah, you're just like, what was that dog shit? Yeah.
Yeah, and now you can't enjoy the lead up because you know that the ending is so bad.
Yeah.
It's so much stuff, yeah. Like, the number of things that have good endings, I can, like, off the top of my head, I can probably count on one hand that are like, BoJack Horseman, I thought, from beginning to end was great.
Dude, Lost is probably the prime example of that, where Lost was like an amazing show.
Oh my
and
God,
then all
yeah.
of a sudden you're just like, what the fuck? Stop. Like, why?
Yeah. What else is really just good beginning to end? Breaking Bad's good beginning to end. Especially if you count the movie as the final episode.
I don't think I've seen the movie actually.
Oh, you haven't seen the movie? Watch the movie. It's called Camaro. It's just about Jesse.
Okay, like post.
It's literally what happens to Jesse right after the final episode.
Okay.
And it's very good. It also expands on some relationship stuff with Jesse and Walter. It as a final episode, because like the final episode of Breaking Bad is good, but it's not like wonderful. It was good enough to not ruin the show, but it did leave some wanting. But I would have like downgraded Breaking Bad based on its final episode from maybe like a 9 or a 10 down to like an 8.5. But counting Camaro as the final episode, I think you have to consider Breaking Bad as a whole somewhere between a 9 and a 10 as a whole when you add it in there. It's very good. Better Call Saul was very good. I also thought its final episode was a little weak, though. But again, not weak enough to ruin it. It was just like it downgraded it a little bit. Mostly because I was like, I don't think that quite makes a ton of sense. But it also, like, at least emotionally kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, endings you kind of can't be too picky about just because they're so frequently so shit. That, like, honestly, for me, if the ending doesn't ruin a show, I get kind of happy about it. Like another one, like Supernatural, the ending to Supernatural was just like, what, dude? Like, are we serious?
Yeah, Supernatural should have ended in season 6. Let's be real. It should have ended with Dean in hell. It should have ended there.
It's season 6 when he replaces him in the cage.
It's when they beat Lucifer and Dean and Lucifer get put down into the cage.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and because it was also the end of the main storyline, because like the main storyline was there's a prophecy that Sam and Dean are going to stop the apocalypse. They're going to stop the resurrection of Satan. And once you finish that main story, everything after it is basically just fan fiction.
Well, I guess the whole argument is that that wasn't necessarily the stopping of the apocalypse because there was later on so many other things that were like apocalyptic, like the Leviathans, and I didn't necessarily mind those seasons either. The Leviathan seasons,
I liked the Leviathan season. I'll admit, like, even though I think it should have ended at season 6, I think seasons 7 and 8 were good. I liked them.
Yeah. I think for me, really, it's just honestly like when they got to the point where like the president was getting possessed and shit like that. Like that's kind of when it started bothering me. But I don't know. I thought it was pretty good up until close to the end, and really the final episode, like the Castiel stuff, like that's really what I was like, okay, this is really stupid now.
I kind of thought the entire final season was bad, but yeah, the last episode was a shit cherry on top of a shit sundae.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was at least fun the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of things. There's also some stuff that just meandered on too long. Like, I fucking loved The Arrow.
I only watched like the first season or two of that, and I really liked it too. There are some shows I feel like my subconscious knows probably like needed to end, and I just stop watching them randomly because I feel like my subconscious is like, you don't need to keep going on this. Like, it's just gonna ruin it.
Yeah, I watched it for like, I think it went on for, I don't know, like 10 seasons or something too, because it was another like CW show, like Supernatural. But I watched it to like season 6, and it stopped being good, in my opinion, somewhere around like season 4. Somewhere
Yeah.
between season 4 and 5, and I just stopped watching because I lost interest. I was like, this shit is, like, wrap it up. You're not doing anything interesting. And same thing with The Flash. I loved The Flash show, but it just got fucking mid.
Yeah. I don't know. Superhero shows and movies and stuff are hard to do. Speaking of, I just watched Supergirl, and that's been getting like shit tier reviews from honestly not even just like the chuds. Like a bunch of people have been giving it shit tier reviews. I do not get it. I thought it was a great movie. I honestly I wasn't super familiar with the whole Superman Supergirl universe as well. So like them explaining the backstory, like I didn't know a bunch of that shit. You
Mm.
know?
I think
Like I knew that their planet was destroyed or whatever, but I didn't really know exactly what happened. I didn't even know like all that shit, you know. So yeah.
I agree that some people are being too harsh on it. I think it's probably like a 7 out of 10. Like it's slightly above average. I don't think it's bad. I think the biggest problem is like one, superhero fatigue. I think people are just sick of superhero movies. So now if your superhero movie's not like insane or doing something really different, everyone's just like, "All right, it's more superhero slop, whatever." Because we have like 50,000 superhero movies at this point. I think the other thing is with hardcore fans, it was an adaptation of what a lot of people think is the best Supergirl comic of all time. So,
Okay, so like it just didn't do the comic justice.
yeah, and a lot of people's complaint is the comic is high fantasy, like crazy, colorful. It's so engaging in its settings, and it's kind of long too. Like for a comic, it's like a pretty long comic. Um, and like given the runtime of the movie was like 2 hours, and that they tried to do like more of like a gritty realism to an extent. Um, it just like it for a lot of average people are just sick of superhero movies, and the diehards were not happy that you didn't do the best story ever the best.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I enjoyed it. I thought it was I think that maybe it's not a movie that's meant for diehard fans because I'm not, like I said, I'm not very familiar with that universe at all. I don't think I've ever read a single Supergirl comic or watched a single Supergirl movie, right? So for me, that was a great movie to introduce me to Supergirl, to really understand her character, her background. It gave me a lot of insight on the whole Superman universe and everything. Like it was just like I said, it was really really cool to see the backstory and kind of understand everything that is going on with Supergirl, right? And I think that gave a lot of depth to the story too. It made you a lot more attached to the story, getting that background in there, and you're like, oh, this is why this person's acting like this, you know, like oh, this is why this person's, um, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it was fine. I think it was fine.
Yeah.
Granted, we don't watch a bunch of superhero movies, so we're not burnt out on them quite as much. Like, the last superhero movie I watched was the one with all the Spider-Mans in it. Was it Spider-Man, Nowhere Home or something, or Return? I don't even remember the title of the movie. And at that point,
Yeah.
I watched that movie like 4 years ago or something. I don't even know how long ago that was. And that's the last superhero movie I watched. So I did get burned out on them, but I got burned out on them like 8 years ago. So like I stopped watching them, and then I only started watching them when they popped up very occasionally. And I'll just say, like, in general, can we just do mainstream animated movies like superhero movies? I think they're just better. Like, can we get theatrical, high budget releases of animated movies?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I really like the Spider-Man movies for the most part as well. I don't think I've ever disliked a Spider-Man movie. I'm just a big Spider-Man fan though, so
Same, but
he's
have you seen
definitely
the
on top.
animated Spider-Man movies? The
Yeah,
Spider-Verse
I was
ones?
gonna say, and the only good Batman movies I've seen are animated. I've never seen a good Batman movie that's not animated.
Same. That's mostly why it's like the man, so my favorite Batman of all time is Batman Beyond with Terry McGinnis as Batman. Um Yeah.
That's objectively kind of the best Batman. Let's
Yeah.
be real.
He comes from a working class family. He's not a weird perfect human. He's more relatable. He's got like he's just more real human being in a more fantastical cyberpunk setting. So did you know the people who did the animated Spider-Man movies, they went to DC and said they wanted to do a Batman Beyond movie?
Really?
Yep. And DC said no.
Bruh.
Right?
So my whole thing is like, okay. Like the OG construction of Batman is kind of like capitalist slop and he doesn't really make sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the richest people in the entire planet. He owns literally a majority of the city, all of the factories, everything. He owns a majority of it, right?
Yeah.
And yet the city's problems are mainly corruption and poverty, right?
Yeah.
As the richest person, you don't have to do a single violent thing. You don't have to beat up one fucking person. You can solve those problems. You literally just can. Like, you can objectively solve those problems.
Yeah. And I think I blame Arkham Knight for turning him into basically like capitalism super cop.
Yeah.
Because the Arkham like
Bro,
Knight
he was
movies
literally
did
fighting
that.
against climate change in that one. Like, they made Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze, whatever. They made them like protecting climate. Like, that was their whole thing in that movie.
Oh, that's the one from like 2000. The Batman and Robin with what is it? Is it George Clooney?
I don't know, yeah, but I remember watching one of them and I'm like, we're really making the supervillains the good guys.
Yeah,
Like, I don't.
that one I give give a little bit of a pass because while it's a bad movie, it's still cartoonish enough that it's kind of just funny. It's not good, but it's funny. But I hate the Arkham Knight ones, the ones with Christian Bale and what is his name? The Joker that everyone likes for some reason.
Joaquin Phoenix?
Not Hakeem, not the one that killed himself or something. He was the messy faced Joker with the long like oily hair.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know okay, well, I guess I hated these movies, and in these ones he's like driving around like his Batmobile is a tank and shit, and he's like
Yeah.
actually just like killing people. Yeah, and he's just like beating the shit out of like thugs until they have brain damage and are paralyzed from the neck down. I hate those movies because you're right. He's just like it's just like capitalism slop. He's just like a rich dude who's larping as fucking like Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Whereas like older incarnations of Batman, you could say that there's a problem with the display of like how he could more effectively tackle things, but he wasn't really this fighting guy. He was a detective. He was like solving mysteries. He wasn't really solving like crime by paralyzing random street thugs, and he was trying to systemically change things in those much older incarnations where he was because like you remember the Batman cartoon that was like on TV when we were a kid.
Yeah, that one was really good.
Yeah, it was really good, and like one of the major backstories is that the reason like Two-Face's origin story in that is Bruce and I'm forgetting Two-Face's name before he became Two-Face, but he was like running in politics, and they were trying to systemically change and weed out the corruption in Gotham using money and the systems available. And then the corruption like wins because they fucking like try and kill Harvey Dent, that's his name. Harvey Dent. Harvey Dent is like the the prosecutor in Gotham, and he's running for mayor or something, and so like the corruption gets to him by they try and kill him, and then he goes crazy because of like the chemicals poison his brain. And it's kind of like a theme thing historically in a lot of older incarnations of Batman, that his villains are not people for him to physically beat, but they're people for him to help, because they are embodiments of like economic failings. Like Bane is a drug addict. Bane's a drug addict. What is it? Scarecrow is like a crazy person who has paranoia and shit. The Riddler is like OCD, stuff like this. And that's why he's like, he might fight them, but he also is trying to help them. Like, he pays for their rehab and stuff. The reason they're going to Arkham, like, modern incarnations of Arkham 2 are fucked up because it shows it more like a prison. But old incarnations of Arkham is like a facility that he built to try and rehabilitate his villains.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, the Batman is a difficult one nowadays to appreciate, especially, like I said, it's just the idea of making a superhero. Same critique of Iron Man. The idea of making a superhero that is like one of the wealthiest people on the planet, and then they just like go around and they like beat people up and shit. Like, it feels very absurd, right? It feels very like you literally could actually produce more good by just using your money. Like, you don't even have to do all this. Yeah.
And then like back to Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis is my favorite because, like, for one, all of his villains are CEOs.
Yep.
Like, his main villain is the current CEO of Wayne Tech. Like, his main villain is the CEO of Wayne Industries. And like his origin story is literally his father, who was like, a working man, like whatever, at Wayne Enterprise, is killed for trying to be a whistleblower on like some fuck shit that Wayne Tech is gonna do with like literally weapons manufacturing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's seeking vengeance on literally like a corporate entity killing his working class parent.
For course. Pretty regular stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, we're getting fucking distracted. What were you even fucking
You're watching the Zhang thing. I don't know, dude. I mean,
yeah,
he's
I think
just
that was kind of it too, because like he's just gonna go off about
how much of our history
this.
is
Yeah,
on
he
a
just keeps
journey.
going off about this
And
stuff.
moving. Google World Trade Center building number 7. You're like, oh, wait a minute here. I thought 2 buildings came down, right? Because there were 2 planes, but 3 buildings came down that day. So how did that happen? Right? And like the moon landing. Oh, okay, we got to the moon, but apparently we lost all the technology. We lost all the data, the telemetry data, and we lost all the footage. So I'm like, oh, how did that happen?
Like,
Like, you have this huge bureaucratic organization.
Yeah, I just had to play that last part because I was like, we didn't actually get to him like unloading the quackery, and it goes so off the rails. It goes so off the rails there, but yeah, like that's like the whole thing.
I agree with South Park's take on the whole 9/11 conspiracy. I don't know if you've seen the episode but they make an episode about 9/11, right? And basically at the end of the episode, the joke is like, they're like detectiving who did it, right? And at the end, they're like, it was the fucking angry Muslims that we've been bombing. That's who did it. It's just they did it. I mean, and we just like stoke the conspiracies because we almost want people to think the CIA is like this powerful and well coordinated that they could, get away with manufacturing like a giant terrorist attack like that would involve hundreds of people and like nobody would blow the whistle, and they could just,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good propaganda for our government in a way. And then on
So
top of it,
people-
it keeps people distracted from going, oh, we could have stopped it. We definitely would have known about it. So it's like, okay, yeah, we didn't literally do it, but we caused the conditions that led to it and did nothing to stop it.
Yeah, it's really good, honestly. That's a quality episode of South Park. At the end, Stan's like, wait, so who did 9/11? And they're like, are you stupid? It was a bunch of angry Muslims.
Yeah. Yeah. Or
I think we could do,
yeah, did you
what
want
is,
to do the Dean Withers, or did you want to do...
yeah, let's watch some of the Dean. Because I feel like that one's just insanely memeable.
Yeah, that one is. Where was
Look up
Ju- yeah.
Jubilee. Oh, there it is.
Dude, this one is so fucking memeable.
I think that we need strong.
Oh my god, yeah, we don't need the highlight. Let's skip ahead. Okay, here we go.
2, 1.
Oh, wait, we missed the prompt.
My first surrounded claim is men aren't better at leading than women.
If you would like to debate this claim, please get to the chair in 3.
This is such a
1.
ridiculous thing to debate women on.
Right? It
Like,
kind of is.
just, if you lose the debate, you proved your point. Like, it's not even, yeah. He's low-key, like, disproving himself by owning these women.
Right? He should have realized this, that he would have had to lose the argument. Being like, oh, you're so smart and so right and so leading. But no, this is brain rotten, honestly. This is brain rotten.
Yeah.
Good to see you again.
Welcome back, Lori. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing phenomenal. So the first claim is that men are not better at leading than women. And I'm honestly appalled that you as a woman would disagree. But I mean, if you want to start it off by telling us why you do think men are better at leading than women, the mic is all yours.
Well, how I would like to start this off is I'd like you to define what a woman is.
Well, sure.
God damn it.
Whatever you think a woman is, it doesn't matter. For the purpose of a debate, like, if you've ever taken debate or actually participated in the debate space, for the purpose of a debate, it is presumed that we are going off of your definition of what this is.
Yep.
I think that the definition of what a woman is ultimately irrelevant to this debate, and I'm willing
No,
to
it's
assume
not.
I'm willing to pre-assume your definition of what a woman is, i.e. an adult human
He debate lorded them! He debate lorded them!
and female. See, if I were to
Yeah,
give you
it's
my
just-
definition of what a woman is, an adult human individual that pertains to the social and cultural characteristics typical that of a female sex indexed to their gender identity, well, then all of a sudden we're going to be speaking past one another because we define the word woman differently.
Exactly.
So I'm more than
for you
happy to
bring this
pre-assume your
prompt in the first
definition.
place is kind of silly because you don't know what a woman is.
Well, I just told you what my
And
definition of the word woman is. You
You
just
know,
simply
and I think
overlooked
it would
it.
also depend on what leadership role that person would take. For instance, if you wanted Kamala Harris, who you voted for, to be the president of the United States, we have a problem with that, and I'll tell you why. It's not necessarily the woman, but it is necessarily
Not the debate topic. These people are so This was something from every clip I've seen of this, is every single one of these brain-rotten mongoloids that gets up to the table does not answer the fucking prompt! Not one of them!
foreign countries, for instance, the Middle East. If I go to a Middle East country as a woman, I can't show my hair at risk of being stoned.
Why are we talking about Middle Eastern countries when the prompt is men are not
Because
better
you're
at leading than
asking
women?
about leading. You voted for Kamala Harris. I think she would have been a
Bro, I would
horrible leader.
literally,
Foreign countries
like,
don't
at
always
this
see
rate,
women
I
as
would dead ass be like,
respectful
all right, I can
as they
see
see
this
a man.
tweet, actually.
A woman leading this country, for instance, when you go to doing foreign policy.
It's just like, okay, I don't know, for the debate semantics, I would just be like, you're already not talking about women, you're talking about a woman. And we're not talking about individual characters, we're talking about an umbrella argument for why all women would be worse than all men. This would mean the worst man is better at leading than the best woman. So you have
Yeah.
to provide an argument for why the best woman is worse than the worst man.
And this whole argument of like, oh, because there are some Muslim countries that like don't view women as equal, or like there are some countries that still have like deeply misogynistic views and shit. Like,
don't you hate
we
them? Aren't you Muslim racist?
We are the imperialist fucking core, dog. You think that a country like is not allowed to bow down to us and listen to us just because like they think women are not worth listening to? Like, we will bomb their elementary schools in a fucking heartbeat, dude. Like, what are you talking about here? That's not a thing. Nobody's not gonna take America seriously. When you deal with Americans, it's like dealing with the fucking mafia or something. Like, it is a constant threat of your own safety and violence veiled in whatever you're talking about. You have to take that seriously.
Yeah, you do. Oh shit, why is it not playing?
Policy,
oh, there we go.
And all of those things, they would not have the respect that a man would. I can also say, as a woman, depending on your age, if I've got PMS, honey, I'm going to make different decisions than I would as if I didn't. If I'm going through menopause, I might have hot flashes or whatever else. I believe it's...
Oh my god,
Yeah.
they're apes.
Yeah,
They're
totally.
apes. Yeah, I'm irrationally can't be trusted because of my hormones. Ha! Yeah, that's right. You can't trust me on a day-to-day basis or listen to me because of hormones.
When I bleed, like, I'm so irrational.
Fucking Christ. Men, I swear to God, like, men have hormone cycles too. And are affected by it.
Yeah. If anything, I would say women are typically less emotional. I think testosterone is a very fucking powerful hormone, and typically women seem to be less emotional, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
I will say, I am not a super mentally stable person, but the only reason I am able to act rationally is because I'm fully aware of the emotional swings I have, right? I think most men are not aware of that.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, we have both had so much anger ingrained into us and, like, volatile reactivity ingrained in us, and we had to fucking work decades
Yeah.
to, like, be able to just manage that shit. And hell, it's especially worse when your testosterone is fluctuating upwards, because, like, you're either just like, you know, younger, so you're developing and your body's just flooding with testosterone, so you're fucking incredibly volatilely angry. Or even just like daily cycles where your testosterone peaks at periods of the day where you will be more agitatable and more reactive, or based off of literally your daily activities. Like, if you work out, it spikes your testosterone, you're going to be more reactive. Like, for a few hours after.
No, 100%.
As a Christian women, men are supposed to lead.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to help. And I'm totally comfortable with that.
Okay, well, thank you, Lori. So the first thing that I'd point out here is that your position that maybe foreign countries wouldn't respect a female president as much as a male president, I don't think is represented through the fact that on the global stage, Harris had a significantly higher approval rating than Trump during the election. And there's a reason for that.
Because she would have been a pushover.
Oh, man. Actually, just to go back on that, I remember reading a study that showed that this was true across genders, but one of the biggest non-case things that affected judges' rulings against people was how long it had been since they had eaten food.
Bruh. Yeah, valid though. I'd be getting hangry.
Exactly, yeah. I was like, shit, that makes sense, but also, like, we should, in that case, like, we should be laying down food at the judge stand at the beginning of every case, being like, here's your snackies, a ruler of law. Because like I was like, that's fucked up.
Dude, Chael, motherfucker, get this fucking cat, dude.
Yeah, being a
Get.
bastard.
Would have got.
Yeah.
They would have walked right over
You're
her.
right.
And that's exactly why she had significantly better policy, better character, and
No,
would have been a
not at
better
all.
president for
Not
America.
at all.
But ultimately, once again,
Ultimate
Lori,
failure.
the topic of debate is not, was Harris a better option for the president than Trump? Because even if we want to look at women and men on this macroscopic level of evaluating one woman compared to one man, even if it was true Harris was a clown and Trump was awesome, that still wouldn't mean that generally speaking, men are better at leading than women. The last point that you made there was about PMSing. I think that you're like indicating that women are more emotional than men on average.
They are. 100%.
Then tell me why men commit 92% of violent crimes. Tell me why they're more likely to
Yeah.
self-unalive, commit
Testosterone.
suicide. So you think
I mean, she said it.
Yeah. I mean, that's literally the exact point I made. Yeah, it's like men have this hormone in them that makes them like volatile and emotional and reactive and shit. And then too, I think through the constructs of society, men are trained to be emotionally stunted, petulant fucking humans. I mean, we are taught to do this shit as well, to gain value through things like status and sleeping with women and material goods and random fucking bullshit and have no actual
And
substance
being more
or
aggro, like dominated
Yes.
through aggression.
Yes, we are literally told these things are like fucking base. Like this is what a man should be. That is like what society tells
just
us.
giving into the whims of testosterone baby rage is actually manly and good.
Yeah.
Eh,
So
fucking
I would make the claim that men are worse at leading than women, and I would bet there are statistics to back that up. Honestly,
I feel like it's kind of just shown that, who knows, there could be other things, because a lot of this could be culturally ingrained. Some of it could be like a general ability thing. Men are more able to commit crimes in these scenarios on average, so they are the ones able to do it. It's not like because it's pretending that I don't think we should pretend that one gender is more emotionally reactive than the other, or even though I would say if we had to pick one, it is men. But it's not like a woman can freak out and just beat a man to death on average.
yeah.
Meanwhile, a man can have his testosterone-driven baby tantrum and it ends in someone dead just because they're bigger based off biology. Like, we could talk about like just like untrained. Like like an untrained man on general is just going to be a lot stronger and more capable to do serious damage than an untrained woman. And it's just a truth. So it's like we could say it's a thing of ease. If only women were allowed to carry guns, maybe you see, and women are always carrying guns, maybe you see that shit change. But
Probably not even still though.
yeah, like I just like it's not really even worth thinking about.
Yeah.
that testosterone is what makes men more emotional?
Absolutely.
Okay, well then you just conceded the debate.
No, I didn't concede.
You just said that
because
absolutely men are
it's
more
a
emotional than men
different-
5
it's a
seconds
di-
after saying that women were more emotional than men.
And that's kind of like somewhat of a red herring, because what I'm trying to say to you,
I don't think she knows what the word red herring means.
women are
No,
more
I-
emotional. They just are in more of a, I can change my mind depending on my mood. Now you're bringing in anger, you're bringing in violence, you're bringing in
Is anger an
another
emotion?
It is, but
Okay.
to a different extent. And honestly, if you've got
What?
You see, when women are emotional, they be acting crazy. They be like crying. They be wanting chocolates. Like women really be shopping, bro. But when men act emotional, like men do cool shit like genocide and like murder people and beat people, and you know, like it's real like manly, like it's based emotion.
Yeah, when men beat women, it's really just an example of their passion. It's just because they're so passionate and that they just have like so much like love, and you don't understand. Like the black eye is a symbol of love. Like really, domestic
Yeah, dude.
abuse
Yeah.
is. If you haven't done domestic abuse, have you ever really loved?
Facts, dude. And I mean, just yeah, like women be shopping, bro. So
So fucking dumb.
A man that's violent, out of character alone, I don't want him leading the country.
Yeah, that's why you
or
voted
anything.
for.
Oh yeah, you want to get into that? I know that's another prompt,
Well, I
but
mean,
I'm happy to get into that.
I guess we
he
could
was
get into
never
that on the front.
never accused of.
Okay, we got it.
he was never accused.
That's
Never
different
even
th-
accused of it.
Yeah, never even accused. That's a crazy claim. Not even doing the lawyer talk of like never convicted, which also wouldn't be true. But like never even accused. Okay, on the debate lord thing, you could literally just like go, I am accusing him right now of rape.
Yeah.
You are now
Like-
wrong. You are now wrong.
Pause there.
That-
You've been
he's
voted
never
out.
been
Please
Okay.
return
accused
to your
of
seat.
what?
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Lori.
If you would like to be the next debater, please get to the chair. In 3, 2, 1.
What kind of jerk, bro? Where?
Welcome, welcome.
Hi.
I'm going to give the mic to you. Why don't you tell us all why men are better at leading than women?
Men are better at leading because as a woman, I can tell you that we're emotionally manipulated very easy. We tend to.
What? 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 Is she about to be like, a man can tell me I'm pretty and now I'll just do anything?
Bro, I think so. I can be emotionally manipulated easy. Like, okay.
Yeah, what the fuck does that mean?
Be compassionate because we, as a woman, and getting pregnant, it's inherent in us. Why? Because we deal with babies.
So,
What? What? No, I gotta roll that back. I don't even
Yeah,
understand what
babies.
she said. I literally don't understand what the point she just made.
As a woman, I can tell you that we're emotionally manipulated very easy. We tend to be compassionate because we, as a woman, and getting pregnant, it's inherent in us. Why? Because we.
She said, as a woman, we're easily emotionally manipulated because as a woman, it's inherent. We can get pregnant. That's like the words she said. That's not a sentence.
Deal with babies.
So
Because we deal with babies? What? Dude, I'm actually getting stun locked by this. What the fuck is she saying?
I don't see the logic train at all here.
I don't even see the subject.
women deal with babies, therefore women can be manipulated. I don't think that argument follows. But once
we
again,
can be easily manipulated.
women can be easily
And
manipulated.
Because babies.
Yeah. Yep, makes sense.
I'm actually, maybe she's a galaxy brain genius because I'm flummoxed. I actually don't understand what she's saying. I'm
Look at
floored.
Face right now, he's about to laugh at her. You can see him holding back laughter right now.
He's having the same brain struggle of being like, what is she even trying to say? Like, on good faith, like, just going like, what is she even trying to say?
Yeah.
What's the argument for that?
It's inherent in us.
Okay, just saying that it's inherent is like me saying that what is actually inherent of women is that they can't be easily manipulated. That doesn't give me any substance to underpin your position when you just simply underpin your position by saying, well, it's inherent, and it doesn't push this dialogue forward. I would say that men are probably easier to emotionally manipulate than women, or else they wouldn't be culpable for 92% of violent crimes. We could emotionally manipulate a man by making him lose a game of Fortnite. The next thing we know, there's 3 holes in his walls. All right, same thing with self-unaliving statistics, suicide. Suicide's a really bad thing, but it is true that men are significantly more likely to kill themselves than women on average. Same thing with drunk driving, gambling. And then when we look at women, they actually perform better in the fields that are less indicative of emotional outbursts, such as performing well in school. And I mean, this is all underpinned by biology. There was a study done by the American Medical Association that proved that if you're operated on by a female compared to a male in the operating room at a hospital, that you're less likely to die or to experience any post-negative operative outcomes. Why? Because women are biologically designed to deal with stress and pain better than men because they have thicker dendrites in their brains. women. So ultimately, the science and the empirical facts completely reject the conclusions that you formed.
Not at
I have no idea if that's true, but
Dendrites in your brain. I'm not gonna lie. That also low-key sounded like bullshit, but
that
yeah.
did low-key sound like bullshit. Whenever people make like these weird biological difference claims, I immediately go, citation needed.
Yeah. Like, you're a debate, bro. You don't know about fucking microbiology, man. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
all. Men are
Okay,
more
we've got a
rational,
pause
and
there.
women.
You've been voted out by the majority, so please return to your seat. If you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Bruh.
Dude, these women are not even lasting 3 minutes. These women are not even lasting 3 minutes.
The way that they all ran there, I'm sorry, play that back. The way she literally waddled up to the fucking chair just murdered me.
3, 2,
I'm being ageist as fuck right now.
Oh my god, she grandma.
Hi. What's your name?
Annette Davis Jackson.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, yes.
So let's hear it. Why do you think that men are better at leading than women?
How about I know that men lead better than women? Because women have the babies, you're emotional.
Is every one of them just gonna say, because we have the babies, because we have the babies, we emotional because of babies, babies emotional.
Baby mean we can't lead. No, baby, no lead.
But more important, I have a dad. I have a dad who is very strong. And when I see what President Trump is embodying, I say, and I know that you can roll your eyes, but you know what my grandmother used to say, you can roll your cotton balls, but you sure can't shoot them. So men are...
What? I don't think that makes any sense either. Did we... Okay, where did we get these women? Where did we get these women?
No, we're getting pranked right now, yeah.
Dude, where did we get these women? They're not sending a best.
strong just like Trump, because in the first 100 days, what did he do? He started writing executive orders.
Yeah.
He started writing executive orders day after day after.
So did Biden. Biden dropped, like, honestly, his executive orders that he was dropping when he first came in had me coping hard. Like, Biden's first 100 days had me coping hard. I was like, wait a minute. That was Dark Brandon era. You remember that? Like, what are we talking about now?
I love the Dark Brandon meme so much. The best one was honestly his, like, leaving speech, where he, like, the whole time he's meandering, and then he locks in for literally, like, 2 minutes, and all of a sudden he, like, gets really wide eyes, and he leans into the mic, and he's like, democracy is under attack. Like, just locks the fuck in for 2 minutes.
No, yeah, I loved that era. He was lucid for exactly 100 days, and then October 7th happened, and it was done. It was just done. Like, he was cooked.
I need to find this video, honestly, because we should react to it.
Dude,
but
it was so good. Yeah, the Dark Brandon memes were great.
Day after day after day after day, women would probably say, hey, ooh, let me take a break. That's why.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, listen, clearly I disagree with you about Trump, but that's actually not relevant to my counter argument. I'll tell you why. Because even if Trump was a good leader, that doesn't mean that therefore men are better at leading than women on average. Like, for instance, in the same way that you could give an anecdote of a man that you think is good at leading to justify the claim that men are better at leading than women, well, I could just give an anecdote of the opposite. Hitler was a man, he was a terrible leader, therefore men are worse at leading than women. All right? But clearly that's not how it works, because we cannot attempt to allow an anecdote of what we think about one individual man to then exist as a portrait for a general...
Is he just explaining what a straw man is now?
Yes.
That's it? He's just actually explaining how to debate to these women now. This is cooked.
Realization about all men.
Why did you have to say Hitler?
Because he's obviously a bad leader that's a man?
Yeah, and
Do you agree?
The president of the United States, which is the commander-in-chief, Donald J. Trump, is a great leader.
Okay.
And he's a great leader, but
those words, they did not go in the ears. They just smacked her in the face. The only thing she heard was Hitler. And then was like,
Yep.
I was talking about Trump. So he's clearly making a comparison between Trump and Hitler. I have a
Dude,
walnut for a brain.
I run in this all, so I used to host vegan debate tables and do vegan debates all the time and shit. And I stopped because I would run into this shit so frequently, and it was starting to legitimately make me a pro getting rid of the human race individual, because it would be I would be talking to the person and they would be like, well, I just don't think animals and humans are the same. Yeah, I fucking never made that claim. Why are you bringing up slavery right now? I'm kind of doing an analogy. It's a thought experiment, you know?
They're like, you brought up slavery or genocide, so you're basically saying that I'm in favor for slavery or genocide.
Yeah. And it's like, Doug, just can you engage for 2 fucking seconds? Or you do the thought experiment, name the trait, because it's very, very effective, right? But then sometimes you would be like, so if you're saying the trait is intelligence, then you think it would be morally justified to do what we do to animals to humans of equal intelligence. And they'd be like, what? Humans are animals? 1, yes, the fuck they are. 2, you're retarded. You're one of the people that would be on the cow farm, dog. This is, I don't know what to tell you. We'd be harvesting you for your meat. We'd be making human steaks out of your ass, basically. But, yeah.
I don't think I ever talked about this, but so of course, we both ate meat for a little bit after being raised vegetarian, right? Did I ever tell you that I did early on actively engage with the contradictions and was actually to justify eating meat, and because it's important to me to be logically consistent, I would frequently say actually I would eat a person. Because I was I was very open about that there is no logical consistency I could maintain if I didn't say that I would.
Yeah. And I think I have an old coworker who is the kitchen manager, and he would straight up say that to me all the time. He would be like, yeah, I would. I actually think it would probably be delicious. I would have no issue with us farming mentally disabled people. And I'd just be like, well, I mean, I guess you're not a hypocrite. I don't really know where to go from here.
I wasn't even saying that. I was like, it didn't even have to be a disabled person. I would just be like, yeah, I'd just eat a person.
Yeah.
Just someone I didn't like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The anti-vegan cope, really, people need to do studies about that shit, because it makes truly intellectual people absolutely idiots, some of the biggest idiots on the planet. People I respect to a significant degree, sometimes you talk to them about this topic and you're like, oh my god, you don't have an education past a 2nd grade level. This is absurd, this conversation we're having right now, you know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my charger real quick. I'll be right back. You can play it, though.
Because he won a landslide.
Okay. Yeah.
And
So
if he could
true.
run again, he would run a landslide again.
Yeah. Well, guess what? He's not. He's a terrible president. His policy sucks. How about this? What's your favorite Trump policy? I mean, a bill passed through Congress, then signed into law.
I'm a former college coach, and not having men in women's sports.
I'm sorry, what bill was that?
Oh!
How have we gotten so far away from the prompt already? The prompt is on the screen up here if anyone's forgotten.
No.
Well, I'm sorry, what bill was that? I
No,
asked you a
it's
very
because
specific
women
You
question.
gotta stop there that you've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Okay.
And
All
shouldn't
right,
be
if you
having
want to
babies.
debate this claim, please get to the center.
Yeah, okay, let's do a prediction. How long before the next person mentions babies?
That's the only thing they need to bring up. Because, you see, women can't be better at leading than
Because
men because
babies.
women can have babies.
Yeah, babies.
So, or they just can't be better because, like, babies.
Yeah, babies.
Like,
yeah, it's the
I
answer.
don't know what you're not getting right now, Loki.
What aren't you getting? The answer is babies, Sky. What the
Yeah.
fuck are you talking about? The answer is babies!
This dumbass Dean just doesn't even know.
Fucking libcock.
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1.
Dean is actually a bit of a lip
Hi,
cuck,
Tracy.
I'm not gonna lie.
I think I remember you. Were you on my first Surrounded episode?
Maybe.
Well, I'm going to pass the mic to you. Tell us why you think men are better at leading than women. It's worth me like reminding you and maybe
I remember this woman.
that
She
so
doesn't.
far a lot of people who've come up and sat in that chair have really missed the mark. Like that last lady. She told me that men are better at leading than women because she likes Trump. Okay, let's hear in general why men are better at leading than women.
Well, this is why I think you're going to be surprised. I actually agree with you.
And why are you?
Ah!
Like, shut up. Like, get
Dude,
the fuck out of my
Just
face.
set the prompt on fire. Like, just set the prompt on fire. None of these women are gonna answer the prompt.
Like, at this point, you can just be like, all right,
Next.
what the fuck do y'all want to talk about? Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
just
next. Like, I'll just debate each of you one at a time. Like, let's just see how stupid
What's
it
your favorite
is.
Taco Bell item?
Yeah.
You in the chair?
And I respectfully disagree with some of them. Well, I'm just saying some of the points that they were bringing up about a woman being pregnant and because somebody's can carry a baby, that they're not fit to lead.
Oh,
I mean, it's the same argument where we say men go to work and come home and the woman stays and handles the household and the children. So is that not a powerful position? And
Okay,
I
to
also
the good point, yeah, like, she's kind of cooking with this. If anything, the traditional roles would indicate that women are better at leading, considering they're in charge of taking care of the whole fucking household. Meanwhile, men just have to worry about one fucking thing, which is, like, getting fucking
Just being a
food.
wage slave. Yeah, they go
Being
be a
a
wage
fucking
slave.
slave.
Women
Just
manage
clock into
literally
your
everything
miserable
else.
fucking 9 to 5 and be a goddamn fucking wage slave, and then come home and get treated like you're a goddamn fucking child, and like your partner is your mom. Like, if anything, men are the worst leaders. Yeah.
have to I'm respectfully disagreeing here, and I want you to give me an example. If you can tell me hypothetically of a woman that you think would be a better leader than Trump right now.
Oh my god! So she didn't do the baby thing, but she did miss the entire point of a straw man of one example does not prove a whole. One example does not prove a whole. If we crafted a hypothetical, like, okay, it is the year 2030. The God Emperor of mankind has decided to finally reveal himself and thrust us into the stars to battle the chaos gods. And he is the perfect leader. He is immortal. He's 20 feet tall. He has a 40-inch cock. He can fly, shoot lasers from his eyes, and he's also a super scientist, and he has when he speaks words, they're just angelic poems that reduce all men and women into orgasmic puddles. That still doesn't mean women are worse than men at leading! You could use
One of my clients commented on me going live and said apparently there's some conspiracy we should look into.
Oh, really?
About, like, Epstein and shit that's talking about U.S. coming to Venezuela's aid because of the earthquakes, and apparently there are, like, a bunch of children missing and shit, and people are going into, like, conspiracy theory land about, like, somehow this being, like, connected to Epstein and stuff.
Okay, wait. I will try and see if I can find that on the other screen real quick. But yeah, let's...
Just to clarify it, you don't think men are better at leading than women?
No, Dean, because
Perfect.
if I'm in...
I'm really happy that you don't think that.
I just told you, I agree with you, right?
I want you and everybody else in the room to obviously not think that men are better at leading than women. But unfortunately, the nature of this Surrounded episode is where we have disagreeers in the hot seat.
Yes, so I'm asking you.
I'm happy you're not, though.
So if we're walking down a dark alley, let's say we're on Figueroa or something, I would be the person having to protect you. I mean, everybody's built differently. I feel like I would have to be protecting you. I'm taller. I'm sure I weigh more than you. I mean, you can take as many classes as you want.
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
a big
But it's
fat dumbass, so.
Okay, I immediately found the conspiracy. If we're just gonna get sidetracked for a second.
Hell yeah. I
Yeah.
love conspiracies. Let's go.
This is from 4 days ago. HAARP conspiracy theory falsely tied to deadly Venezuela earthquake.
Dude, I gotta say the Epstein files getting released has just like everyone's a conspiracy theorist now. Like I legitimately believe the majority of Americans believe in like ridiculous conspiracies now. Because that was kind of like if most people, if you told them there was like a pedophilic ring of like wealthy, powerful people in this planet, they would be like, dude, come on, like shut the fuck up, you know? So I think it just kind of like made everyone's brain break a little bit, and like the average person is literally like a 9/11 conspiracy theorist now.
It's a lot of factors, but yeah, they kind of are. A humanitarian crisis is developing in Venezuela after twin earthquakes on June 24th, 2026 killed and injured thousands of people. Meanwhile, social media posts have falsely pinned the events on the High Frequency Active Aurora Research Program, HARP, in the U.S. state of Alaska, based in part on outdated videos depicting laser beams that AFP determined is fabricated. Experts also say no lasers force could have triggered events of such magnitude.
Yeah, I'm confused how exactly lasers in Alaska are supposed to trigger an earthquake in Venezuela. I'm not really. I don't.
Based off of this clearly fake image.
This is the thing with most conspiracy theories. Like, I believe in things that people say are conspiracies, but there's like actual logic behind it, and most of the time the CIA has literally come out and been like, yeah, we fucking did that, you know? But some people, they believe in shit, and I'm just like, what is even the logical train behind this, you know?
I can't believe there's even a fact check article on this, because like, the fucking only evidence is literally a Photoshop screen grab and a TikTok.
So is the conspiracy that they generated an earthquake in Venezuela so that they can then kidnap Venezuelan children to start a new, like, Epstein ring? Like, is that the conspiracy? I'm confused what the... Like, why even start an earthquake in Venezuela? Like, are we just saying just 'cause they can? Like...
Country's earthquake disaster in over a century took Venezuela. Okay. On X, account blaming HARP activities. Foreign authorities, military forces. HARP is research stays most powerful. Okay. AFP repeatedly debunked online conspiracy theories. Let's click on this TikTok link. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
This about to be canceled.
Oh,
Let's see it.
Jesus Christ. Look at how many of them there are.
Let's see the pinned ones, brother. Go to the top. Let's see the pin.
Oh, God.
We're watching all three.
They're fucking making like alien laser noises and whirring on the screen like lightsabers.
I was gonna say, I didn't know, like, giant fucking lightsaber cocks could start earthquakes in Venezuela, but...
My God, is this... First off, has anyone actually seen a laser?
No.
Like, once? This is not what lasers look like!
They actually don't exist. You're just a libtard. Dog! I mean, come on!
Okay. Let's take some logical thinking and talk about distance traveled for how fast something like this would have to scan across. So where what would probably be at least a mile away from where these lasers are touching down, and we're watching these lasers zip in 1 second from side to side, which would also...
You know how many videos and eyewitness testimonies there would be?
We'd have a we'd have 7 million angles on this shit.
I mean, this is happening in what looks like just a well-populated city. Like,
also, lasers of that magnitude, they'd be incinerating. Like,
yeah,
let's assume they even have the energy to shake plates. The kinetic force that would be dispersed upon their impact would be atom bomb level.
yeah, like, what's the logic behind them being able to cause an earthquake in Venezuela and not just fucking Alaska? Like, it would just be a crater, dog. It would be like goddamn Kamehameha on that bitch.
Literally, it would be a Kamehameha! You're right! It would literally be like Cell Saga, Gohan with Goku's spirit backing his Kamehameha, firing like an earth-shattering laser beam that would like be able to push us out of fucking orbit.
New, more important topic. Who wins in a fight, Vegeta or Thrag?
It's Vegeta, and it's like, he could do it. You could get Vegeta from the first time he appears in Dragon Ball, like, you know, Saiyan Saga Vegeta, and he would cut Thrag in half with his pinky.
You think so?
Well, okay. Vegeta destroys 3 planets by taking his hand and closing it. In the Saiyan Saga, when his power level was canonically 18,000.
Yeah, so I was arguing with someone about this. They were saying that Viltrumites were stronger, and I was like, okay, I can grant you Thrag is like so absurdly fast where nobody else in the universe can like catch him, right? You realize that in Dragon Ball Z, they're literally blinking around. Like, they're literally fucking teleporting around, dog. That's how fast they're moving.
They're moving reality bending fast. Goku can literally instant transmission anywhere in the galaxy like that. Like that.
And like, you know, the giant ray gun thing that shoots a beam? They have regular moves they just throw out that are as strong as that. Like, we don't even have to do fucking Vegeta versus Thrag. Like, Krillin is whipping that ass, brother.
Yeah,
Krillin
he's going. He's going solar flare, and Thrag's blind, and he's going Destructo Disc and slicing Thrag into 3 pieces.
Yeah,
instantly.
But I will say, as far as like if we're throwing them in superhero universes, I do think Viltrumites likely mog every superhero. I do think that's probably true. They think
mog a lot of superheroes. They mog a lot of them.
Yeah, I would say the vast, like even Superman and shit, like from what I can see from power scaling, it seems that the Viltrumites are stronger than like Superman would be. I guess we would have to determine how strong his laser eyes are. Like maybe those could hurt them, but honestly, that's an issue in Invincibles, I think, too, is that their power scaling is really fucking inconsistent.
Well, I'd say the same thing about Superman, because Superman has a story where he literally gives Atlas a break and holds up the Earth. Like, to give Atlas a break, so that he could take a break.
Yeah.
And he does that for like a week.
Beat up by like a random fucking person, basically.
Yeah, it's really inconsistent because like we have stories where Superman blows black holes away by literally blowing on them. Like he blasts black holes through space by going like just blowing on them. We like old pre-crisis Superman literally drags the solar system. Like, he drags our entire solar system. He picks up our solar system and moves it.
I would say, like, I think something that's interesting, too, about Superman is, I guess, the, like, power from the sun, right? So it's, like, specifically yellow stars, like, give them a shit ton of power, you know? And so I think that, I guess that would be like the determining factor. If we like ignored all the inconsistent power scaling and we just like average them, the determining factor would be like proximity to the sun, right? And I think that's probably what would determine that one. But
Well, another thing is like, yeah, some incarnations of Superman is like the moment he's not in proximity to yellow sun, he's basically a normal human. But
yeah,
in most incarnations of Superman, he actually stores solar energy, and like to the point where he can have months of stored solar energy in his body. And he can even supercharge himself. Like, have you ever heard of Golden Superman?
yeah, that was another thing in a Supergirl was like there's a scene, for example, where she's getting just like absolutely fucking mollywopped, like beat the shit out of by these people, and she gets like put in like ejected into space, and she's like dying in space, and then literally just the horizon of the sun starts to cross the planet, like just a little bit of sunlight starts to touch her, and all of a sudden she just like goes fucking god mode instantly, like comes back to life and just fucking demolishes everyone. So they do love to do that shit where it's like the second sun touches them, they're fucking overpowered. The second they're not in sun, they're just a regular human, basically.
Yeah, like they're basically reverse vampires where in some incarnations, but in other incarnations they can store so much solar energy that you would have to take them out of the yellow sun solar system, and you'd have to take them out of the solar system for like years.
Yeah.
Like the first time Superman dies in comics when like Apocalypse, or I'm sorry, no, Doomsday, like beats him to death, right? It turns out he didn't even die, and the reason he didn't just like get up later is because they buried him to where the sun couldn't touch him. And what happens is like literally his like service robot unburies him and brings him back to his Arctic base, the Fortress of Solitude, and just lays him on a table, and he comes back from the dead.
Yeah.
Just because he's not underground anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just depends. It really depends on what story you're taking Superman from. Because yeah, in some stories he's getting his ass beat by like robots and shit that humans built.
Yeah, yeah. And then too, yeah, and Invincible, like a lot of times they'll be doing shit that is like so fucking absurd, and then other times they need like 10 of them to stop a spaceship from falling on the planet, you know?
Yeah, it's like, okay, 3 of them can fly through a planet and blow the planet up. But then
Yeah.
other times it's like, oh, Mark is getting his ass beat by some zombie robots.
Yeah, it's like so fucking inconsistent.
Yeah,
but,
and it's like,
you know.
okay, doesn't that kind of imply that the zombie robots are punching hard enough to, like, shatter mountains?
Yeah.
And clearly they're not.
No, because that's another thing is he's getting punched so hard, he's literally creating giant craters in the ground in, like, multiple scenes, and he's not taking any visible wear and tear from that shit, you know?
Yeah.
So...
It's very inconsistent. And then, like, later on, it has, or I guess it was revealed once, but they have, like, a sonic weakness, the Viltrumites do. It's basically their version of a kryptonite. And that shit gets, like...
Big thing with the robots, to be fair.
What?
I think that's a big thing with the robots that we didn't realize, because they does do the scream, right?
Yeah.
So I think that the robots were activating a sonic weakness that, like, well, they weren't even aware existed.
Yeah, well, that sonic weakness, like, gets really inconsistent as the story goes, because I've read the whole comic series. The sonic weakness gets ridiculously inconsistent, because, yeah, at a certain point, they develop metal that when it gets hit, reverberates at the perfect frequency to make that sound that weakens Viltrumites, and like at a certain point the Mark just gets so strong that he punches through the metal to where it doesn't make this frequency, and he starts just tanking it.
Yeah.
So it's like
I find Invincible fans to be some of the most obnoxious humans ever. I've never had a community spoil a TV show with comics with such frequency. I mean, immediately after the last season wrapped up, I go on Instagram and people are just posting pictures of comics of like Thrag wearing Battle Beast as a coat and like all this shit like way later down the line where I'm like, this just ruined this for me. You know?
Here's the other thing that's even crazier. Invincible has a bunch of alternate timeline comics too, where different things happen. So there's like different endings.
Okay, yeah. We kind of got introduced to that by the one bad guy that convinced a bunch of Invincibles to try and kill Invincible.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's basically unlimited timelines. Like, there's a timeline where Conquest and Battle Beast just become friends. Because they're both
Have
just
you
like
ever
little
heard of
psychos.
the DMT theory of existence?
No, I don't think I have.
So this is basically a theory that they did studies on people like doing DMT and also people having like death experiences and the flooding of DMT, and that's kind of why they started doing this study, right? And the theory basically goes as this, is that consciousness is actually something that's happening. Like it's kind of like consciousness just is like a thing, like reality is consciousness, and our brain is actually a filter. And so it filters out the consciousness that is important to us, that actually allows us to survive. And that's kind of the selective trait it has. But there's actually so many layers of consciousness happening that we can't see. And things like DMT allow us to see other layers of that consciousness. And so the theory is also that there are a multitude of different universes, and they're all actually happening right now, and they're happening in the same universe, but they're on different levels of consciousness, where we can't see the things happening, and those things can't see us happening.
That would just be like kind of like the lay into like the quantum immortality theories and stuff like that too, right? It's just like if there are alternate realities, there are infinite alternate realities, and if there are infinite alternate realities, there's a reality where every conceivable thing could happen, so there's a reality where you're immortal.
Yeah. I think, you know, obviously, like, we live in a dystopian existence, and it's, like, really fucked up. And, like, I say this all the time, like, I don't understand, you know, like, Game of Thrones, like, winter is fucking coming. Winter's fucking coming, guys. Like, we're all gonna die. We're all facing climate change, existential dread. Like, I don't understand how humans are not on the same fucking page about this shit. And it really pisses me off even more because we're at a point in science where, like, I honestly think if we locked the fuck in as a human race, we could all live to like fucking 500 at this point. You
Honestly,
know?
yeah, we're kind of at this point of abundance that if we started working for the common good, yeah, we're gonna be techno elves. Like we could be techno elves in 10 years.
Yeah, like if we just legit just lock the fuck in, like if the humans just cut the goddamn fucking bullshit and we actually lock the fuck in and we all went, oh fuck, winter's coming, let's put down the petty bullshit, let's focus on this, let's actually study space, life, existential shit, like let's divest a lot of our fucking extra resources that we spend on yachts on this shit, then like, yeah, like, come on. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, because we're making leaps and bounds while actively giving crumbs to the people that make everyone's lives better. And
yeah,
it's like,
we're making leaps and bounds while we don't just not give them crumbs. We try and stop them from making those leaps and bounds. We're literally like, no, cease this. You can't do this. This is too beneficial.
Yeah, like last year, I was remember reading there we came out with like six different cures to 6 specific types of cancers. Like we cured 6, granted there's thousands, but we cured 6 cancers last year while defunding cancer research.
Dude, the fucking cuts to funding on cancer that Trump did are insane. Now, one thing I will also say is that he left the WHO, right? And what we've seen is that America's capitalist fuckery was actively actually holding the WHO back because they have made leaps and bounds since we left the organization, which is really fucking funny because we provided a very large amount of funding to that organization, right? So you would think like, oh, you know, they would be slow. No, the lack of like them having to get our approval for everything and us constantly being fuck faces has allowed them to just start like fucking skyrocketing, you know?
On that same like topic, have you read about the cancer or like chemo drug rationing?
Yeah, dude, we're running out of fucking chemo drugs that are getting developed. Like, we literally don't have enough of them getting developed. It's really fucking scary. Actually, it's one of the chemo drugs I took is one of the ones that we're like running out of. That's so insane to me, right?
Literally just because they're too cheap now, so companies can't make money on them.
Yeah, so they're just not even producing them anymore. Like, it's like I said, we live in a dystopian fuckery of an existence, and that's why it's extra infuriating that we live in this dystopian fuckery, because you see technologies like AI, and you see technologies like mRNA and shit like this, and you're like, wait, we could actually do this. Like, we could actually, like, seriously fucking change human existence right now. Like, right in this moment we are living in. We could fucking change human existence.
But Sky,
Like,
Sky, I want AI to make kitty porn.
yeah, it's like,
I need my AI to be able to undress children.
yeah, like they've used AI to early detect cancer so early that there is no indication of cancer. So they literally thought that AI was like tweaking and wrong, and then every single person that it early detected in ended up developing cancer exactly where they fucking said they were going to develop.
And wasn't it also off of like things that weren't even good indicators? Because wasn't it off of scanning X-rays, which aren't even a good detector method?
Yeah,
but
it was like
that good.
Such a micro fucking start of a cancer. Yeah,
yeah.
It like detected it on the first bad split, basically. Like, that's so insane.
Yeah, that is crazy. And it's like we're just deciding, nah.
Can't do that.
Yeah, nah.
Like, yeah. How are we gonna fucking milk you for what you're worth, man?
That's why, like, anytime I'm talking about, like, the AI, like, stock bubble right now, it does feel, like, very reminiscent of the dot-com bubble, because it's like, okay, we were right that the internet was big and gonna change everything, but we over-invested and invested in a lot of companies that were just doing dumb shit. And it's like, the same shit's happening now. The same shit's happening now. Yeah. We're over-investing, and we're investing in a bunch of companies who their only plan is, let's make weapons with it.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing, right? Like, you talk about, like, the Garden of Eden, that paradise, no violence, everyone living in prosperity, like, happiness, yada, yada. We could literally just do that. Like, we have lab-grown meat, we have the technology to cure almost all diseases if we just fucking locked in. Like, we don't have to harm a single fucking thing on this planet anymore if we didn't want to. We could literally just stop.
Yeah, we could de-fossil fuel tomorrow, and, like, China's the golden example of that. They've been so good at renewable investment that it's like they're gonna be like, in 10 years, zero fossil fuel use requirements.
Yeah, I mean, it's really fucking absurd how we act. And that's why it's like, America, it's so pivotal that we change these things in America, because we really are the people holding back the human race's progress. Like, it's really us. It is the imperial core, right? Like, America falls and ushers in a new age of, like, what, you know, it can fall and usher in evil shit, but if it falls and ushers in a new age of people's based governance, of governance based on increasing the human experience, and that's its only focus, is making the general human experience better, it would like, within 10 years, the human race is living a whole new existence, you know?
Yeah, we're gonna have this second like life expectancy boom, because what is it like, from the dawn of humanity until the 19th century, humans lived, like, on average to 30. And then from the 18th century to the 19th century, we increased that to like 35. And then from the 19th century to the 20th century, we doubled it to like 70.
Yep.
And it's like, there's no reason that that we couldn't just do that again very soon, other than we're choosing not to, where it's like, we could double it again. We could double it again.
Yeah, it's a really infuriating thing to exist around. It really is.
Yeah, because like I've seen like on MRA things, there've been like telomere repair therapies with MRA that would
Which
be
is just stopping aging.
Yeah,
That's
it's
just
just like
legitimately reversing aging. Like that is by definition what aging is. Is it's the shortening of your telomeres. Like you literally just reversed fucking aging, dog.
yeah, and like at this point, the only thing I haven't read of about us making really good gains in science on is like brain repair. Because
Yeah.
like there is still the problem of like there are forces that could cause brain essentially age-related brain decay, and we can't really stop that shit. But I'd also say we don't know if that some of that is a consequence of your body failing and that just overflowing into your brain.
Well, we know some of it is a consequence of our body failing. I mean, there's plenty of literature on things like, for example, plaque buildup in your arteries directly leading to the destruction of your brain, right? Liver dysfunction directly leads to the destruction of your brain, right? I mean, we see this in studies where, oh, this person, it's not a coincidence that the alcoholic is also way more predisposed to Alzheimer's. It's not a coincidence that the guy with heart disease is more predisposed to Alzheimer's, right? Like these things aren't coincidences. That's
They're
not just
cascading effects. They're cascading effects.
Yeah. So they definitely have to do with each other. The brain, like we said, we don't know what actually creates consciousness. We don't actually know what consciousness is because the brain is such a fucking and honestly, AI is probably our only chance of understanding the brain to be real, because it is
could
so
map it in a way,
complex. Yeah.
Because like, what did we map? Was it a fruit fly's brain with AI? We mapped
I don't know.
I think it was we mapped every part of a fruit fly's brain.
But yeah, it's insane. I heard of this dystopian ass fucking experiment too that we're doing where we basically have created brains, or maybe we take brains out of people who died or something and we store them, and we've kept them in containers where the brain is theoretically can fully functioning, and we literally dope it up so that it's in a docile state.
I haven't read anything about that, but that's interesting. I wouldn't put it past it. It would be very fascinating to me if that's possible at all, because that would be more realistic on rejuvenating a person than something like cryogenic freezing.
Let's see. Let's see if this article is something.
Because I know cryogenic freezing, you're literally just there's no chance. There's no chance you're bringing a person you cryogenically froze back.
I think this is this article I just found. I haven't read the article yet, but I think this might be it.
Why is it not open? Oh, okay. It lagged. I opened it 3 times. Alright, what do we got here? Not alive, but not dead, disembodied human brains used for drug testing. New Haven, Connecticut, just a day ago, the brain was in a living person. Now, hours after his owner died, it sits on a cart draped in tubes that quiver as the pump liters of blood, substituting other fluids through organ supply, oxygen, removing waste, with most of the key functions intact, but its electrocavity quenched by anesthesia. The brain hovers between life and death as it metabolizes experimental drugs. Sensors, recorders react to capture hundreds of data points on its cells. In psychology, then after 24 hours in the state, it'll be sliced into hundreds of pieces for more detailed study. Okay, so it's not indefinite. They're trying to map out the brain more by keeping it in this state.
But is that not insane? Because if the brain truly is what generates consciousness, then if you didn't amnesia this bitch, that brain would be experiencing some form of consciousness inside of this fucking vat.
It probably would, but it would have to be some kind of wild dream state, because it has no sensory It has
No
no
sense.
input
Yeah.
sensories. Yeah, so it's not gonna have taste, smell, touch, nothing. It would only be raw. It would be like that raw consciousness. Nothing as an input to affect it.
What if it's like the type of consciousness where it's like you literally are like in a dark room and you can't see anything and it's just like you thinking? Like imagine how fucking weird that shit would be if you're just like, what's going on? Like, how am I alive? I thought I died. Like, why can't I move? Why can't I see? Like, what's happening? You know?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, that is fucking. That is incredibly existentially creepy to think about.
Yes, right? And like I said, they drug it. So there is no experience happening because they put it under amnesia, right?
Yeah.
But if they didn't, then theoretically there would be some sort of experience happening in that fucking brain inside of that machine. And then theoretically you could keep that bitch alive for more than 24 hours. There's no reason you can't. They supply all the necessary things to keep the brain alive. So
Yeah, assuming you could keep it alive, this is probably the most realistic, like I said, the most realistic way to eventually revive a dead person.
yeah.
Way more realistic than something like cryogenic freezing, which definitely can't do anything.
Yeah. If we could figure out how to make like a sensory robot, we could actually make robot humans, yeah.
Yeah, which I'm game for. I've been saying forever, dude, the flesh is weak. The flesh is weak. Give me
Yeah.
my robot body. Fucking I love this shit. Oh, what is it? I fucking love this shit. 40k nerd here, but
from the moment I understood the weakness of my flesh, it disgusted me. I craved the strength and certainty of steel. I aspired to the purity of the blessed machine. Your kind cling to your flesh, as if it will not decay and fail you. One day the crude biomass that you call the temple will wither, and you will beg my kind to save you. But I am already saved. For the machine is immortal. Even in death, I serve the Omnisire.
Yeah.
I've always
I mean,
yeah, fucking sick. I've always been a Necron fan. I've always been a Mechanicus fan. My straight up dream is to be a horrific robot of mad science.
I would not.
If we ever start doing cyborg shit, I'm first in line. I'm first in fucking line. I want to be a crazy robot. I have no attachment to this weak flesh. I crave the strength and certainty of steel.
I mean, it would just make everything honestly a lot more simple. Like, it's like, oh, this, and you could, like, honestly fuck your body up and be fine. Like, you could get your arm ripped the fuck off. You can just build a new arm. It's literally not a big deal.
Yep. I also believe, like, talking on the end of consciousness, the only way to, like, the only way to, like, a higher level of consciousness in a, like, continued state would be something where you are just consciousness and you don't have to rely on these, like, biological motivators of, like, hormones and stuff like that. Of course, there's probably some that your robot body would have to regulate to make your brain continue to function. But, like, what if you don't have hunger as a motivator anymore? That's not an aspect that you even have to factor in. You don't have, like, any wavering instabilities because of anything. You are just a machine. and then you have pure unadulterated thought.
Yeah.
Fucking, it would be metal as fuck.
Have you ever heard of like the dream state? Basically, like there's a see if I can find. Hypnagogic state. Let's look this up. Because I was reading about Nikola Tesla, and this is something he talked about frequently, that he credits with a lot of his inventions, and a lot of like his is that state right there that I just sent you.
Oh, I clicked on the wrong link. I have not heard about this. What is this? The hypnagogic state is a transitional phase between wakefulness and sleep, when brief hallucinations, vivid imaginations, or sensory experience can occur. These experiences are usually harmless and may include geometric patterns, sounds, or fleeting images. Oh shit, yeah, no, I have this all the time. Mostly because I sleep like shit, so I spend a lot of my time, like, in light sleep.
Yeah, so apparently there's like a way to purposefully enter and explore this like limbo between consciousness and sleep. And a bunch of actually like very smart people who invented crazy shit would like purposefully put themselves in the experiences because they would say it allowed their brain to like, I guess, like think without all the like distraction, you know? Like you're able to think without the distraction of the world. You're in a conscious state, but you're in a conscious state inside of your brain's own like cage, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say I've definitely been able to be like this, just like almost meditating, just like sitting very still and doing nothing. I'd mostly do this after I read about something or listen to something, just like sit in complete silence thinking about it, essentially.
Yeah, some people claim that if you purposefully like delve into it, that you can actually like move around in this state and you can like talk to beings and like really kind of, yeah.
Generally, my experience is almost like a fly on the wall thing. Like, I would do this a lot, or I do this a lot if I'm writing. I'll, before I write, just sit and, just like kind of, yeah, like go into the state and more just experiencing the thing I'm gonna write about as like an observer.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm reading a study on it right now. I'm seeing if there's some sort of, yeah, so they're talking about like different ways to enter the state and different ways they've studied this state and stuff like this in the study. Let's go to the conclusion. The purpose of the review is to provide an update on hypnagogic states. Since the review of Scarter, we evaluated the proposed future direction suggested by Scarter based on the more recent literature. Multiple methods were used to assess both the prevalence and quality of hypnagogic states. Two approaches emerged as the most promising to examine states: the serial waking paradigm and the linguistic analysis. Both approaches assess hypnagogic states when they naturally occur in close temporal proximity to the experience. Moreover, both allow hypnagogic states, is that how you think you would say it? Hypnagogic states to be contrasted with dreams. The linguistic analysis also allows a systematic exploration of experiences without limiting reports to predefined categories, as the classification occurs after collected reports. Previously, literature reporting, yada yada yada.
According to the wiki etymology thing, I think if I'm reading this right, it would be pronounced hypnoagogus. Or hypnoagogic.
Yeah, so this is really interesting, and I think that the reason I thought about this is because I think if you had some sort of experience inside of that tube where like your brain is being kept alive, this would likely be the kind of experience, because you're seeing things, right? But you're not actually seeing things. Your eyes are not open, right? So this is all images generated by your brain, but you actually are seeing things, which is a really cool thought, that we don't actually need our eyes to perceive. Our eyes are just filters that help us perceive the world. But without eyes, we would still perceive something. We would still see things, right?
Maybe. I remember watching a Hank Green thing on the brain about him saying that the eyes are part of the brain. So, like, your brain functions radically different if, like, you don't have sight.
I bet if you never had sight, you could probably never see things. But I bet if you have sight and then it's taken away, that you can still, like, you can't perceive the reality, but like I said, you can still, like, perceive things, right?
Well, interesting thing on this too, the sense of sound being a thing. I think it was what is it? I'm gonna Google this, but deaf. I think it was, I remember reading that when you experience hearing loss, it increases the likelihood that you develop schizophrenia. But if you never had hearing, like if you're deaf, your chances of developing schizophrenia are virtually zero.
Yeah, because you don't even have like a reference of voices to be created. Yeah.
Let's see. Patterns of notes.
What's really funny, I ran into, this is off topic, but I ran into this guy the other day, and he gave me the most valid argument for Trump possible, and it just kind of had me fucking dying. He was like, oh yeah, no, Trump's evil, he's a piece of shit, but he's making the contradictions more clear. He's like, are we not closer to revolution than we've ever been? And I'm like, what are you talking about right now? And he's like, yeah, I voted for Trump.
He's an accelerationist then?
Yes, he literally was like, it's to accelerate the dysfunction of our society, because
I've talked to accelerationists before too, and I'm just like,
yeah,
okay, that's...
He's basically like, we either need to do apocalypse or like we need to do revolution. So like this is getting us to that decision where one of those two things is going to happen, right? So
yeah. I think accelerationism is incredibly flawed. The analogy I would use is, okay, I'm advocating that this building is a fire hazard and we need to fix the fire hazards. And because I'm an accelerationist, my solution to make sure the fire hazards are fixed is set a fire.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically, yeah.
It's like, okay, that that assumes we put out the fire and survive the fire. Because if the fire rages and burns everything down, well, there's no fixing. We have to start from square one, and it depends on who gets to start doing the building. And we've talked about who would get to do the building in that scenario in America currently.
I think that's one of the biggest mistakes people make is like, I understand why everyone, like I talk about revolution. I understand why everyone's so keen for revolution in a moment like this. But, you know, this is one of the things Trotsky actually did cook on, is talking about how a revolution without like a centering body, like without a vanguard or some sort of person who is prepared to fill that power vacuum, is a knife without a blade. It's basically just useless because someone's going to fill that power vacuum.
And we have no structure to fill it right now. None.
Yeah. And so if we just create a power vacuum, most likely who's going to fill it? The most ruthless person, which is going to be a capitalist.
I think I've said before, I think if we burned it all down right now when we're cast into chaos, who has the non-governmental structural like systems in place along with followers to use in that system? Well, it's evangelical psychos.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have the people that fill that power vacuum are just gonna be Christian ISIS.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. It's going to be the most ruthless person with the most structure behind them. That's who's going to fill the vacuum if we don't create a structure in place. Now, if we create a structure of working class individuals, of community, of neighbors, then that can easily fill that vacuum instead. But we actually have to build out that fucking structure first. Yeah.
It's exactly why I just cannot get online with accelerations. I'm just like, you do not understand how things work. And I understand the like dread you feel that things aren't happening fast enough, because they're not. You're right there, but like, and like, especially when we see things like this, where we have like the entire country having 100-degree plus weather, and it's like, we don't just have the capitalist system to tackle, but we have an even greater existential thing to tackle once we tackle the capitalist system that will require grand communal effort. So it's like, I understand the weight that people feel on their shoulders and on their back that drives them to adopting such an opinion. But it's like, you just have to ask the question, who's actually gonna fill it? Yeah, who's gonna fill that? Is it gonna be us? Because right now, no. No, it's not.
Accelerationists are interesting, yeah. Interesting people to converse with.
Yeah. It's wild. Now, I'll admit, every now and then, just to maybe make myself feel better, like when Trump got elected again, I was like, you know what? I do kind of believe he's not going to be that much different than like a Kamala Harris at the core. Of course, in some ways, very different. Kamala Harris would be more competent and maintain the structures. So it's like, maybe you could do some controlled accelerationism from time to time, because I do think we maybe wouldn't have the social progress that we're seeing right now in an electorate fashion had Trump not been elected.
Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of the thing that, like, I want to make the distinction clear, but I also want to be, like, realistic when we talk about Democrats versus Republicans, when we talk about Trump versus Obama, right? Like, to be clear, there is a notable difference in them, right? But also, to be clear, they are both fundamentally imperialist evil fucks. Like, that is, when you get down to the root of it, they will protect capital above all else, right?
Yeah.
And it's just that Trump is more overt about it. He's more blatant about it. He doesn't even feel the need to like basically claim that he's not, you know, like he says shit when they're like, what do you think about the war in Iran affecting the, you know, everyday American? He's literally just like, I don't care. You know?
He's like, fuck them. Fuck them, the peasants. They're peasants.
Yeah. So he's just way more overt with his fuckery. But at the end of the day, I mean, this isn't an original take. So many leftists have said this before, is that the Democrats and the Republicans are the same side of a coin, but, you know, the Democrats are going to stab you in the back, whereas at least the Republicans going to tell you to your face that they want to fuck you over, you know?
Yeah, and it's like, maybe in that one regard, maybe you could say that some positive, like some controlled accelerationism is happening, mostly because Trump's also been, to a certain degree, incompetent. So, like, things, it's not like we've gotten, but, although, also, we can't say that yet, because who knows, maybe the midterms roll around and they reveal their rigging plan, and they've done a way better job than we think they have.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden there's a clean sweep, and now we're under actual, literal fucking authoritarianism, you know?
Yeah, like, so we can't fully say it yet, but, like, the hopeful part of me goes, maybe this was an example of controlled accelerationism, where the fire was just small enough that we got it under control, and it did make everyone go, oh shit, actually this is a fire hazard.
Yeah. This is why I get so mad, though, is I know we have to have the right equipment and the right people to be able to do this, but it is like at a certain point we stand there watching this fire slowly engulf our fucking planet, and everyone's just trying to pour water on the outside of the flame, and I'm like, guys, I'm ready to put on the fucking suit and walk right into that fire. I just need enough of you to do it with me. Like, I'm ready to gear the fuck up and go find the source of this fire and put that shit out. I just need enough of you brave enough to put on a fucking suit with me and walk into the flame, you know?
Yeah, and also, like, like you said, people are just throwing water on the outside, but it's like, oh, we could be, there's also, like, things, we could be slowing its advance by digging trenches so it can't, like, of course, in this we're just using this as an analogy, there's, like, of course, other things you could do other than tackling it at the heart of the flame, but you can slow its progress in these ways, and it's just, yeah, instead, the fire's coming and we're throwing water on it as it comes instead of doing anything.
Yeah, like, that's what it constantly feels like, is like I said, there's a fire just slowly engulfing our planet, and we're all just running backwards, just throwing buckets of water on that shit. And guess what? We're running out of fucking water, guys. Like, yeah, it really
literally is. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So fucked. It really does feel so fucked sometimes.
This was such a meme, dude. I know we didn't even watch much of this debate, but it really is like, this is such an absolute fucking joke. I can't listen to her voice. We straight up can't listen to that one.
I was about to say, this woman, she speaks on a pitch that hurts my brain.
Yeah, like, it legitimately upset me listening to her.
Yeah, let's fucking skip forward a little and
your argument.
Sure, that could be a logical. You need instincts.
Your seat.
In your head again, thinking, "Damn, I've rage baited myself on a Jubilee video again." Well,
wait,
I got something else that's going to do the same thing to you, or possibly teach you something.
What?
You've probably seen me before. I'm Austin.
Yeah, get out of here. Skip this. I hate this. I hate this more
Okay,
than
if you want to
video.
debate this claim, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Oh God, this woman.
Hello, my name is Shiva Bagari.
What's her name?
Shiva Bagari.
Okay, so this woman was trying to be Marjorie Taylor #2. She, like, ran and lost an election.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah, she only got, like, 1,200 votes.
That's funny.
Yeah. So this person, the reason she looks like this is literally because this is the schematic for deranged MAGA politicians.
Gary.
Shiva Bagari. Well, would you like me to take it away by explaining to you why I think Donald Trump is a misogynistic sexual
Dude,
predator?
I saw this clip so often. I love this woman for being so fucking stupid and deranged.
It's 9/11, make a wish.
Yeah.
First and foremost, he's a sexual predator because a court has held him civilly liable for raping a woman by the name of E. Jean Carroll. Of course, raping somebody is something that would make one a sexual predator. In 2005, he also boasted about engaging in sexual violence by sexually exploiting beauty pageant contestants at the beauty pageants that he owned by barging into their dressing rooms and looking at their naked bodies. And this isn't an allegation from some woman that you could defame and say just wants money or fame. No, this was an admittance of guilt, something that Donald Trump said he did on Howard Stern's radio show. And I see you shaking your head. I'll happily play you the clip if you want. And we also
Yes, please show me the clip because I do not believe it. Yes, take it out.
I still
worry, I got
can't
it preloaded.
believe this moment right here happened, actually. I actually can't. It's crazy.
I mean, they gotta know that he literally sits on live and debates people about Trump all fucking day. Like, you gotta believe he knows what he's talking about at this point, right?
Yeah,
I mean, this dude is probably one of the biggest authorities on, like, Trump bullshit at this point.
I would agree. I would say Dean Withers is the Trump expert. If he says Trump did something, I'm gonna go, yeah, I bet he did. Because I might not know, but you definitely do.
Yeah, like, that's all you fucking do is you study this man and you debate people about him. Like, that's literally your job.
Yeah, it's his entire career. Like, he is going to have to pivot hard once Trump's out and find a new, I don't know, arch enemy.
Yeah.
Good.
So you have done it. Well, I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show. Yes. And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. Right. I want to make sure that everything is good. Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women, and so I sort of get away with things like that.
Why don't we start there? Mike's yours.
Okay, well, he said that he probably sees them. It doesn't say they're naked there, so.
Yes, it does. It literally just did.
I fucking, like, how many seconds back? How many seconds back? 5 seconds? 10 seconds?
These incredible-looking women, and so I sort of get away with things like that.
Why don't we?
It was 12 seconds. 12 seconds back.
Yeah, literally.
We start there. Mike's yours.
Okay, well, he said that he probably sees them. It doesn't say they're naked there, so
It does.
They might have. No, it doesn't.
He said that they have no clothes on. When you have no clothes on, you're naked.
No, who said that they didn't have clothes on?
Donald Trump.
He didn't say that in the clip.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Okay, again, I want to hear
That's
it
fine.
again.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And
There you go.
Oh, well.
No clothes.
Well, it's like he didn't actually say clothes.
Got him! He didn't finish the word. It could have been clogs. They're not wearing clogs.
They're not wearing cloths. Cloths. They don't have towels on their head. They're not them Arabs.
It's the way she looks around like she got him too. Actually a mongoloid.
Yeah. I think it's important for us to be intelligent, rational people.
Okay, so
you're saying no clothes, and then Howard Stern says, so you're like a doctor.
I definitely don't agree
Why did
with
Howard
that?
Stern say you're like a doctor? Because doctors get to see people naked.
Okay, I don't agree with that.
The flags just go up. Did you see that?
Yeah, everyone's just like, she's cooked. She's cooked. She's a retard.
Men have testosterone, and men love beautiful women. And trust me, I would prefer a man that actually looks at women and is sexually
moving the goalpost. Actually, we're gonna Gish Gambit away from me saying that he didn't say it and say, actually, it's good. It's good that he likes naked women. I wouldn't want one of them queers as president. Thank God he's not a queer.
To be clear, that's literally what she's saying right now is, you know what, I'd rather my president be a rapist and a creep than one of them queers. That's dead ass what she's saying right now.
It really is.
Attracted to women than someone that is not.
Why is that woman going, yeah, Yeah.
What a good point.
What a good point. She's cooking. She's cooking. When human beings talk like this, I know people don't like this word. We need re-education camps. We need them. We need them so
I don't
bad.
care if people like the word. Americans. This is another thing about Americans. Like, they've been convinced of such a ridiculous revisionist history, and then they'll be like, "Oh, China has slave camps and re-education camps." What the fuck do you think we do in prisons? Like, literally, what the fuck do you think we do in prisons, guys?
We have the largest slave colonies in the world.
You think prisons, they just, like, chill out and they just, like, get to eat food and
a lot of these people think they're welfare camps. A lot of people think prisons are welfare camps. They're like, I think we should put everyone who's done a crime, no matter the crime, on the wall. We should have firing squads, end them all. I don't care if they were stealing bread. Put them on the wall!
Like, legitimately, prisons are torture slave camps. Like, that's what they fucking do. It's like psychological, physical warfare, as well as literally making these people do fucking slavery. And then we want to act like we have some, and we have the largest prison population in the entire world by a shit ton, by the way.
Yeah, so that's why I said we have the largest slave colonies in the world.
Yeah. I mean, it's so fucking absurd, dude.
It's so absurd. Yeah, no.
Like, people be like, "Oh, so you want re-education camps?" I'm like, yes, that would be a better alternative to the continuation of settler colonial slavery, dude. Like, yeah, I think I would prefer a re-education camp.
Yeah, I'd like to just teach everyone, for one, like, fucking empathy. Like, we just need to teach everyone empathy. We need to teach everyone real history, real world history. Not weird fake America propaganda history.
Yep.
We need to teach people, like, fucking dialectics. We need to teach people so many things. On top of all that, we need to teach people skills, because there are, like, honestly way too many people who can't even fucking take care of themselves.
And I actually like looking at women too, and I'm not even a lesbian, but I think...
Why are all of the dumbest ones also just, like, closeted? Why?
Women's bodies are beautiful. It's like
Ma'am,
art
I'm
to
sorry.
Me.
No,
it's art
I'm
to
sorry.
me.
This is disgusting.
No, and
you just told me that you would prefer a man who, quote unquote, likes the female body and is willing to barge into the private women's only dressing room and still look at them while they have no clothes on.
I said
compared
before
to
that
you're saying I think that real men with testosterone are sexual predators.
So you just lied about me right now, because I said I don't believe what he did was right.
But it was but I would prefer a man who likes to look at the naked bodies of women.
I've been over someone that is attracted to other men. Yes.
Why?
Absolutely.
I did. Oh, actually, no, I did say that. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I did say that. I did say I prefer a rapist over a queer.
Because it's not natural.
It's not natural to be gay?
It's natural to be attracted to the opposite
Define
sex.
natural.
Natural is what God made, Adam and Eve.
So God didn't make gay people?
Well, actually...
I thought that God was the creator of all.
No, that's sin. And sin...
The devil made gay people. They're demons. They're demons here to capture our children. It's okay if a straight rapes children, but when a queer rapes children, they go to hell. When a straight rapes children, they go to heaven.
That's one I don't even think Dean gets time to, like, dive into. But there is someone who they deemed a credible person who they charged Epstein for, who said that Epstein trafficked her to Trump. Like, this is, like, and yeah, they're anonymous, so we don't know this person. It's a Jane Doe, right? But this is someone that Epstein got convicted off of the testimony of, and then in later FBI interviews, she said, one of the people I was trafficked to was Donald Trump, and he beat and raped me. Like,
Yep.
From the devil.
No, sin is a conscious decision. Being gay is not a conscious decision.
Well, actually, being gay is a conscious decision.
Okay, could you choose to be gay?
It's an action.
Could you choose to be gay?
Yes, absolutely.
Could you choose to be?
I actually could have chose to be gay when I was younger.
Could you choose to be attracted to your mom?
A lot of women actually.
Could you choose to be
me,
attracted to your
and
mom?
I said
If
no.
attractions are a
But
choice.
Okay, this gotcha she tries to hit him with, and then thinks this response. I remember this. I do not understand how this is they think this is a gotcha.
Could you choose to be attracted to your mom?
Can you choose to be a pedophile?
No, I couldn't choose to be a pedophile. Could you choose to be attracted to your mom?
Oh, so there you go. He thinks.
Yeah, see, they all think that's a gotcha because they think the reason. I know this. Because I've talked to people like this. Conservative people that are anti-gay like this think the reason that people that are not homophobes think being gay is okay is because it's not a choice, because it's an inalienable characteristic of a person. What they don't understand is the reason it's not a problem is because it's two consenting people who are it's an inalienable characteristic of. I do also believe people do not choose to be pedophiles. I think it's something that is wrong with them.
yeah. I mean, we can, like, I don't think it's a controversial thing to say that people have serious psychiatric problems sometimes that are a moral negative on society, and, like, either we need to be able to fix these psychiatric issues or remove them from society, right?
Yeah.
But gayness is not one of those issues. In no way is gayness some sort of moral degeneracy, or does it hurt someone, or like it literally affects fucking nothing. And also, if you think that you can choose to be gay, fucking newsflash, you're gay.
Yeah, you're gay. It's the truth. And that's the dividing line is not that it's not a choice. They get hung up on that. The reason it's okay is because no one's getting hurt. Pedophiles hurt people. Depression's not a choice, but you want to solve depression because it hurts someone. It hurts the person who's depressed. Bipolarism is not a choice. That doesn't make bipolarism or depression okay. It hurts the person. And, I mean, with bipolarism, it also generally hurts the people around that person, too, but I just don't understand how they haven't made this connection, that the reason it's okay isn't because it's not a choice, it's because it doesn't hurt people. The reason things are and are not okay are because they do or do not hurt people. I think we're probably in agreement, and that's how our moral compasses work. We judge things as good or not because they do or do not hurt people. They do not rob people of things.
Yeah. I mean,
I just don't understand how that's a fucking these people think this is a gotcha. It to me, it makes me question if they explained their moral compass, what the logical metrics of it would be.
I legitimately don't believe they could. Like, that's kind of the conclusion I come to, is that if you tried to make these people explain their moral compass, they would be unable to.
Yeah, you're probably right. Most of them would just be like, whatever God says. It's like, so if we got the Bible part 3 and it said you can only fuck children, that's what you believe now?
Only children of the same sex. You need that divine pussy.
Yeah, now under your logic, now you can only be a queer pedo.
Yeah. No, they're all fucking idiots. I mean, it's just, like this is what I mean. Sometimes like it's really hard to engage. Like obviously, everyone has a capacity for change. Like we've all changed our minds. We've all come from places where we thought really stupid things before and yada yada. But like sometimes I talk to people and I legitimately am like, oh, this is fucked. Like this is really not good.
Yeah, it's gonna take years of re-education, or I'm gonna try and brand it repatriatization. It's gonna take years of repatriatization.
I really hate that patriotism is like something co-opted by capitalist and conservative movements, because fundamentally the idea of the revolution, not actually what happened, but the idea of the revolution is literally fucking communism, a state run by we the people.
Yeah.
That's by fucking definition in communism. Just so everyone's fully aware, a state run by the people is by definition fucking communism.
Yeah.
Because it really is. Can't be run by the people under capitalism. That's not possible.
Yeah. In its design, America was not explicitly capitalist, but because the founders happened to be capitalists, they did not create safeguards against it.
Yeah. And then we whitewash everything. Like, we're like, yeah, George Washington with his cherry wood dentures. You mean the teeth he ripped out of a slave's mouth and put in his own?
Yeah, oh my god. Okay, so where I work, there's a bunch of older people. On 4th of July, a bunch of people of the older crowd that came in were, apparently there was a George Washington movie that just came out. They apparently all went and saw it for 4th of July, because they were all coming in talking about how they went and saw this movie and they had mixed feelings about it. I don't know what's in the movie, but I have a feeling that it probably took a more realistic note. I have no idea. But
yeah.
I literally had that same conversation where I was like, it's crazy that we were all taught he had wood teeth, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's every founding father. There's a great book called Black AF History, and it basically goes through American history from like the true perspective and like the perspective of Black people. Like it just like it goes through the real American history, and it goes into the fucking nitty gritty of that shit from the founding of America. And basically is like, yes, all of the founding fathers were like evil capitalist bourgeoisie fucking pigs. And that's basically what happened, is we went from one group of evil capitalist fucking bourgeoisie pigs to another group. But the group that we went to lived with us, so now it's all chill.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I had brought this up before, but there's a great Behind the Bastards episode where he talks about the origin of gynecology and how it was just this guy who was doing experiments on slaves, like slave girls.
Yeah.
He was literally just doing freak shit experiments.
Oh, there's so many medical things that, like, giant medical inventions or whatever that have happened due to tests on, like, Native Americans and slaves and shit. Like, that is a very common thing, yeah.
Yeah. And part of it was also because, like, the modern practice of gynecology is still kind of medieval, and a lot of it is because of its origin. Because it was a lot of the practices were developed under this idea of, like, it was believed Black people didn't feel pain.
Yeah. I mean, people don't really, like, when I talk to people about slavery, like, they just cope so hard about, like, what it even was. Like, I hate the whole thing when people bring up, like, oh, other places had slaves. Okay, yeah, they didn't eat their fucking slaves. They didn't skin them and use them.
Yeah, we were particularly cruel. We were particularly cruel.
Like, there has never been a form of slavery that has ever existed like ours. And to pretend like there has is so absurd. Most societies actually treated their slaves relatively well for, being slaves. Like,
Yeah, like fucking Romans are probably one of the first societies that did like industrialization of slavery, but every single slave in fucking in Rome could buy their way out of slavery.
Yeah, it's more of like an indentured servitude, I guess. Greece, a lot of Greek places, they had slaves, like the Spartans and shit, right? Most of the time, their slaves were literally given like months of vacation. Like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's wild. And if
Like,
you
we
if
talk
you
about feudalism. Like, the average person was actually treated better under feudalism than they are under fucking capitalism.
Oh shit,
That's
yeah.
the reality.
I had a moment like that was really funny. So, like I said, I've been playing this game, KDC 2, that's basically a medieval sim. One of the first things that happened to me is me and my lord are like, our camp was ambushed by bandits. No one believes our status, so we don't have any money, so we're broke. We go to a tavern, and we don't have money, and the bar maid is like, okay, I'll give you 2 beers and 2 bowls full of food. Alls you have to do to pay for it, move 5 bags of flour from this cart to my basement, because my good-for-nothing husband has disappeared because he doesn't want to do it.
Like, yeah.
And
yeah.
it was kind of like I had to lift the bags of flour. I had been shot in the shoulder, so I was getting hurt lifting the bags. I had a shoulder injury from taking an arrow to the shoulder, so I was getting hurt lifting the bags of flour and like stumbling and stuff. And even all through that, it took me 5 minutes to move the bags of flour. 5 minutes of labor to get 2 beers and 2 bowls of food.
Even if, let's say, that was an hour, that's well above the average person's pay.
Yeah, tell me where you could do even 1 hour of work to get 2 beers? Like, of what would be considered, like, low-class work, like manual labor stuff. Tell me where you could work for 1 hour, buy 2 beers, and 2 plates of food.
Nowhere. I mean, your average plate of food is going to be well around $20. Your average beer is going to be around $5, right? So we're talking $50 right there.
Yeah.
That is a high income.
And then on top of that, because it's America, you're gonna have to have your tax, so that's another $5. That's $55. Now you got a tip. That's gonna be another $10. So $65.
Yeah, $65. Like, you don't know. Almost nobody makes 65 an hour. So yeah.
Yeah, 65 an hour would be what would 65 an hour be year round? Would that be like $130,000?
I don't know if it's that much. Let's see. I'll calculate it.
Because it would be times 40, 65 times 40 times 52.
Yep. That's 135,000. You're right.
I was so close.
135,200. Yeah, like, that's a fucking great income. Yeah.
That puts you at, like, I don't know, like top 5% of Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy! 95% of Americans wouldn't be able to do that, and I'm like a peasant covered in human shit.
Yep. It's just so insane to me, yeah. I mean, that's... And like I said, too, like, they would get months of vacation, they would get all these other things that we would consider, like, the most insane benefits in our jobs today. Like, if a workplace was like, yeah, you get 2 months out of the year off work, you would be like, what? Excuse me? 2 months?
I know.
How could you be so lucky?
I tell people I get a week paid vacation and at my job, and people are like, what? You make sandwiches.
Wait, you have benefits? Your job gives you health care? Huh?
Yeah, no. Yeah. People will be like, you have dental?
Literally, dude. I have friends. I went to one of my friends for 4th of July, and I heard someone start talking about, like, yeah, I had to wait on this thing and this thing. Like, he was, like, dealing with some serious mental health shit, but he couldn't get medication because he didn't have health insurance, so he had to end up ordering medication online through, like, a HIM service or something, and, like, rely off of this medication that wasn't even fucking prescribed to him for months in order to afford health insurance, right? And it's just like, what? Like, what the fuck is this dystopian universe, you know?
It's so fucking wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, kind of leaning back on the pharmaceutical thing, talking about, like, the chemo shit being, like, running out because it's not profitable. We basically are just having to rely on that we're going to be able to buy surplus from other countries, and that, like, Mark Cuban being the only person who seems to have even a fraction of a soul as a billionaire is like, actually, I'm going to start making it at cost from my pharmaceutical company. And it's like, okay, I guess you get, as a billionaire, you get a tiny little bit of credit for doing that, but also, like, we shouldn't have to rely on, like, one guy just going, I'm actually gonna do a good thing.
And you know what? He's still profiting a shit ton off of it, like, at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's still gonna profit off of it.
I mean, he noticed, like, he basically noticed a financial, like, opportunity, because where all of a sudden nobody's willing to manufacture this drug, if then he is the only person who starts manufacturing the majority of this drug, now what happens?
Well, the way I see it, he gets to rake in goodwill and pull in customers. Because even if he's selling it at cost and making no money on that one product, well, now you're in his ecosystem.
Yeah. You're a purchaser of him. He is a supplier to you now. And it's like, why not go ahead and get more drugs from him? Why not, if we have to get these baseline chemo drugs from him, why not get all chemo drugs from him, right? Like,
yeah. Why not also get our inhalers or whatever, our birth control, our hormones, our fucking literally anything, our painkillers.
It's legitimately a very basic sales tactic, right? Is kind of get your foot in the door idea. Like, getting your foot in the door is the hardest part in sales. I can tell you that as a personal trainer. But I have, like, an insanely high close rate once I actually have, like, a call with someone or actually have a training session with someone or something. Because once you can actually show that person value, now they like you and they rely on you, you know?
Yeah.
You just have to actually have the opportunity to present them with the value of, like, whatever service or product you are supplying. And then once they realize that you're, like, a good supplier, that you actually do provide value, all this, like, they want to do business with you. You're a known now. There might be a personal trainer that has a better service than mine, but I don't know about them. I know Sky. I know Sky's given me progress. I know Sky showed me all this new shit. I know I can work with Sky and I like with Sky. So I'm just going to keep working with him, even though this other person came along and they might very well have a better product.
Yeah, but I'm already locked in. Yeah, exactly. And you're right. It's a basic business thing that people have been doing forever. Like, we're gamers. Consoles are literally that. Consoles have always been basically, like, computers that are 1/3 the price of what you would have to build that item for. But they make their money on game sales because you can only buy their games, and their games are like $70. So, okay.
Only their controllers, only their games, only their add-ons. If you get, like, the VR for it, or the whatever bar thing that they used to have where it would, like, scan your movement, like, all that shit, right?
Yeah. I mean, fucking, like, even Steam. I don't know if you heard about this. Steam is making a console now. And what it's good value. It's going to be $1,000, and to build it as a computer would probably cost you $3,000.
Yeah.
but they're going to make their money back easy because the only way you can buy games is through their Steam platform.
Yeah. It's funny how capitalists claim to love free market, yet they eliminate free market at every opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, we were, right now, like, we see that because it just took effect 3 days ago, the THC or Delta or whatever, like, ban. That shit happened. Yeah, that shit happened because, like, distilleries and, like, alcohol companies and stuff like that and bars lobbied the state senate. I think they lobbied $50 million to the state senate to switch the classification over to the ABC licensing board because, so now only edibles and drinks, I think, are sellable in Tennessee, and it's
Yeah,
under
you
the...
can only sell it at, like, bars, that's it.
Yeah, and the reason they did that is because, okay, they could spend money to compete with the head shops, but the head shops already have their foot in the door, and like you said, people aren't going to suddenly go to new places. So what they have to do is they have to run them out of business, and now they already have the foot in the door because now the head
If you're already
shops...
gonna go buy a drink, yeah.
Yeah, now the head shops are gonna have to play catch up to get certified through the ABC licensing to be able to sell that same shit. And some of them are trying, like our local place. They're converting their store into a pizza bar, like a pizza pub, to try and like stay in the game. But it's like fucking crazy that they even have to do that to even just try and stay in the game.
No, it's so absurd. Yeah.
Meanwhile, yeah, every place that's already a bar, now they get to just carry like THC food and THC drinks, and they're already set up for it. They already have the infrastructure. So yeah, they just eliminated competition so that they could sell the same thing. It doesn't even make sense, like, tax-wise, because you know what? You could still order that shit online. And I don't even mean, like, illegally. You could still order legal stuff online. Like, any of those brands you would buy, like, Gold Spectrum, I think, is, like, a brand I see everywhere. You could just order that shit online, still. Like, from regular websites, and it shows up to your door.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Pretty absurd.
They just eliminated local tax revenue.
Basically.
So fucking dumb.
No, it's an action, honey. And you can choose to sin or you can choose not to sin. I try to keep the devil away from me.
Can I just get a clear answer to the question?
And no, this is a clear answer. But see, you don't come from a biblical standpoint.
What are
you
the first
come
4
from
books
a
in the
worldly
New Testament?
standpoint.
He's Bible checking her. Fucking awesome. I actually do love Bible checking people because it's really funny.
I come from a biblical standpoint that there's 2 sexes, there's no 50 different genders. That came from a pedophile named John Money who lied about a study to push reassignment.
Who the fuck is John Money? I don't actually know this one. Who is John Money? I have never heard about this person. Have you heard about this person, John Money?
Yeah. I know about John Brown.
Oh, yeah, American hero. Apparently this guy, like, he is some guy in... I don't really... So okay, he's got here's his Wikipedia. Here's his Wikipedia just to highlight some things. So it looks like he pioneered like sex extinguishing drugs as a treatment for sex offenders. That looks like something. Which I don't know, I might have mixed feelings on that. That might actually be like something you should do if someone can't be rehabilitated out of being a sex offender. Like maybe you should just kill their sex drive and put them on court mandated like libido killers. And then it looks like, yeah, he has one controversy with a sex reassignment where someone had a botched circumcision that left the child without a penis. So they convinced the parents to give them sex reassignment surgery. This is like such, a hyper-specific example to basically create a straw man out of, though.
Dude, these people are so fucking weird.
He did have an interest in gender dysphoria and transgender people. He maintained that transgender people had an idea fix. What is this? In psychology, I don't know how to see that. Idea fixe is a preoccupation of mind believed to be firmly resistant to any attempt to modify it. I don't. In 1965, Money co-established the Gender Identity Clinic at Johns Hopkins with endocrinologist Claude Migion. Money screened adult patients for 2 years prior to granting them medical treatment and reported that none regret the procedure. The hospital began performing sexual reassignment surgery in 1966 and was the first clinic in the United States to do so. According to Goldie, the Money is seen as a negative figure among transgender people. In one paper, Monet described trans women as devious. Wait, so this is some other person who just hates trans people who's shit-talking this guy. Monet believed that de-stereotyping sex roles might prevent people from one. Oh, okay, no. They don't have a weird thing about trans people. They just have a different idea of. I don't even know if I fully disbelieve this. Like, I think it's up to individual people, but I kind of also agree that if you removed all cultural aspects of gender and allowed people to basically look however they want, it would alleviate gender dysphoria in a lot of people. I don't, not all people, but I bet it would alleviate gender dysphoria because they would be able to, look and present however they want without being stigmatized.
I've always kind of had that viewpoint too. That, like, if society was just more accepting of people in general, then people would probably be less likely to feel the need to do that to themselves in order to, feel okay.
Yeah.
I think we kind of force a lot of people to do gender reassignment to themselves in order to feel okay.
Yeah, because it's the only way they can present without being.
You're not allowed to act a certain way, you're not allowed to look a certain way, you're not allowed to whatever because you were born with a penis or whatever the fuck, right? So, yeah.
Simultaneously, though, I also believe that people have the right to be able to do whatever they want to their body.
1,000 trillion%, and I'm sure there would still be a lot of people who are like, I just don't feel comfortable looking down and seeing that shit. Like, I feel like I'm not supposed to have that.
Yeah, and no matter what, it's a problem. Or even just because they want to embody these like masculine or feminine feelings, go on hormones one way or the other to more fully embody
I
it.
mean, this is what men who do steroids do.
Yeah.
Is they want to be an archetype of a man that is not possible to do without steroids. So what do? They do steroids, they do cosmetic surgeries, they do whatever in order to become this archetype of a man that they could not naturally achieve, which is like a higher level of masculinity than like is natural is possibly created in nature. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even understand why she brought this guy up. That's weird.
In surgery on thousands of people through his lie that butchered this poor boy and put him through hell. Reimer twins, go look it up on Oprah.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm gonna ask
you
the
don't
question
live
again.
you don't live
Yeah, what the fuck is she on about?
Literally has nothing to do with the question. Yeah.
in
I'm gonna ask the
reality.
question again.
I live in reality where I know that a
Jesus.
tree is a tree, a woman is a woman, a man's a man, and if you are
And a moron's a moron.
and if you're choosing, see, that's what they do. When they can't win an argument,
I cannot believe
That's
this.
what they do when I'm screaming and
Refusing
this like
to answer the question.
I'm sorry, but I would be memeing at this point. I would be like, look at this emotional woman. I guess you guys are right.
Right? I'd be like, oh, yeah, I guess this... Yeah, fucking pull out the misogyny at this point, because, like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Excuse
me, you're talking
pause.
over me.
Everybody pause. Dean, we got to ask that you don't do personal attacks. That's a
Okay.
warning.
Okay. All right. So first and foremost, the question once again was, could you choose to be attracted to your mother? The reason why I'm asking you this question is because you had suggested that all attractions are a choice.
It is
so
a
please,
choice.
with just a concise yes or no, could you choose to literally be sexually aroused by your mother? So there's two possible answers to this question. The first possible answer is yes, Dean, I could choose to be attracted to my own mother. And the second possible answer would be no, Dean, I could not
But
choose to
you're
be sexually
trying
aroused
to-
by my own
you're
mother.
trying to do a
so
hook
what's
on
your
me.
answer?
Could I
It's
just,
a hook.
do you have a yes or no
It's
for
a
that?
hook.
No, because this is a hook. Because I will
I
never
won't
be
answer
attracted
it
to
because
my
I
mother.
recognize that what I've said is untenable and that I've been faced with logic and cannot find a way to outmaneuver it.
Yeah.
Because it's a choice, but I would never do that because I'm a Christian.
So could you choose?
That's it. I'm not going to say that on camera. That's weird. And I'm not going to be in the hook of this young man that's 21-year-old telling a 52-year-old to say something disgusting like that.
So you admit that it's disgusting
Yes.
to think that you could choose to be attracted to your mother.
We got to stop there. That you've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat. If you want to be
Honestly, she lasted longer than everyone, too.
And people were like snapping like she did something when she
Yeah,
walked away.
Yeah, people thought she
These
cooked.
women
the
were
next
so
debater,
into
please
it.
get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Howdy.
Hi, Dean. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal. I'm
My
gonna
name
try
is
to.
Zuriel.
Zuriel, it's a pleasure
Nice
to
to
meet
meet you.
We're going to go back to the prompts. I think that Donald Trump is a misogynistic sexual predator.
Mm-hmm.
The reasons why I think this are some of them that I shared with the last guest. It's because I think that Donald Trump is a. He had a civil court determine that he raped a woman by the name of
Mm-hmm.
E. Jean Carroll. We listened to that clip of Donald Trump bragging about engaging in sexual violence. Listen, I take a sexual predator to be somebody that is engaged in sexual violence. Donald Trump bragged about that when he said he'd barge into the dressing rooms of the women at Miss Teen USA and Miss USA. If Donald Trump's admission of guilt in that clip that I played to the last lady is true, and this is indeed something that Donald Trump has done, then by definition, Donald Trump would be a sexual predator, and thereby, by definition, I'd be right.
Can we both agree that people in power of elitists, people up there in politics,
Oh, I remember this woman. She literally just goes, I don't care. Which, again, is not answering the question!
all have their own, maybe their own immoral traits to why they're running for candidacy. Like we've heard about Epstein files,
Yes.
about all these different people that, maybe they're not really here to make a change for us.
Yes.
Can we agree with that?
Yes.
I could care less about what Donald Trump says on the media, because
But
I
it's-
believe as long as he does his very best to be a good president and do the best for this economy, I don't vote for a president based off their character. I vote for them based off what they can get done. Honestly,
I would like to just take a moment.
This is
look
a
at what you
symptom
said.
of
Are you
capitalism, by the
saying?
way. this whole idea that people in power inherently have degeneracy or have immoral things, right? That is purely a symptom of capitalism. When you create a system where the ultimate reward is given to those who are willing to do mass exploitation, have mass amounts of greed, who are able to ignore hundreds of thousands and millions starving, who are able to put people in abhorrent conditions and then steal the vast majority of the income they are producing. When you create this system where the evilest people get the most reward, then yes, inherently, the people with most of the power will do evil fucking things.
Yeah.
Crazy concept.
It's also just a crazy take. It kind of leans back. So I think this is also a symptom of people who do have like a logical like core, and it's important them to be logically consistent to take this on. Almost like how I said when I was eating meat, I took on the stance that I would eat people. Because it was important to me to stay logically consistent. I had assumed this person isn't totally stupid, and has some kind of logical core, and so to maintain some kind of logical consistency has taken on the stance that this has to be true for these other things to be true.
Yep. All right, let's get through this person,
It's
and then I'm
true
gonna peel.
Donald Trump is a misogynistic
I
sexual
think
predator.
we'll
but
jump
I
over
could
to
care
this
less
one other
because of his
highlight
policy.
here.
What I'm saying is,
Can I just get a straight
we
answer?
obviously can't deny that maybe he has bad traits of his character. I'm not going to agree that.
Honestly,
I don't
yeah,
know
that's the highlight.
This is a true
of this one.
story. You could look.
Let's jump straight
Get
to this
you a little bit
highlight
back.
because it seems to be the most played moment in the entire video. Okay, this is where she first sits down. Abortion should be legal, is the prompt. Yeah.
I love the DNC, and I'm the leader of Antifa. Listen, the reason why I think abortion should be legal is because I don't think that abortion is morally wrong. I think it's a permissible action. And because I think it's a permissible action, I therefore don't see any good reason to infringe on a woman's bodily autonomy in the legal prevention of her access to abortion. Therefore, it's a human rights violation.
So you don't understand that it's like killing, you don't think it's killing a human being?
No, I do.
And you're okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I don't
You
see
don't
anything
think that
morally
we
wrong
should
with it.
focus more on preventable measures because you don't have to have an abortion.
Oh, well, I also just...
You can do both.
Yes, give every man a vasectomy.
Yeah, you like what this fucking because I keep seeing this with AI with water consumption, how people will bring up unironically bring up like vegan things, like animal agriculture actually takes up most of the water consumption. I'm like, yeah, and because A is worse doesn't mean B shouldn't be solved.
Yeah, and if that's your stance, then you would be pro giving everyone a vasectomy, because most of the time vasectomies are reversible, right? So, I mean, if you think it's so important to prevent pregnancies, then every man should be forcibly given a vasectomy, right?
We should put birth control in the drinking water and give you an antidote only when you're willing to... Yeah, we should put birth control in the drinking water and fucking only give people a blocker when they're ready to have a child.
Yeah, like some shit like that. Yeah.
Disagree there. I do think that we should focus on preventable measures. In my optimal society, there's 0 abortions. Okay.
Okay, so like I don't have a problem with this, but this is also I've talked to people that like take this stance, they're like, or this mid stance where they're like, I think there is an overuse of abortion. And I think that's like something that a lot of people actually have bought into due to the pro-lifer propaganda, that there's just like fuckloads of abortions happening.
Well, this comes down to the fact that people have no standard for their moral basis. Not enough fucking people think about this. And so many people have an issue with abortion before sentience because they have not thought for 2 fucking seconds why they grant other humans moral consideration, and it is not because you just have this amorphous name of a fucking human. If I were to genetically alter something to where it's a fucking blob, but it still is technically Homo sapien, you would not give a shit. If an alien came down and looked exactly like us, behaved exactly like us, but was not Homo sapien, was a completely different fucking species, you would not suddenly think it's morally permissible for me to do whatever the fuck I want to that thing. And if you did, you have some weird fucking moral basics that makes no fucking sense. So no, there is
Sky,
nothing...
is the blob hot? Is it fuckable? Because I think that changes. I think that changes the answer a lot. How fuckable is the blob?
Okay? Not because we're forcing women to not get them, but rather because the conditions in which lead women to get them don't exist, such as poverty, financial instability, a lack of sexual education, the failure of contraceptives. In my ideal society, those things wouldn't exist.
Do you know that if a woman gets pregnant, she's not financially able to keep the baby and she doesn't want the baby, she could at least take Plan B?
Yeah, and I think that would be...
They're classifying Plan B as an abortion. They're trying to do that.
Also, Plan B doesn't always work. So what Plan B does is it delays the ovulation phase. So if you're already peak ovulation and you have sex, Plan B does nothing. It doesn't do anything. Plan B very frequently doesn't work, actually. People don't know that for some reason. I think that's a big thing as far as, we need to educate people better. But there are numerous situations where Plan B does nothing.
Yeah. Also, shitloads, as we've seen since the deaths skyrocketed, shitloads of abortions are straight up performed literally just because it's gonna kill the mother. If they don't.
Yeah. Most abortions are from a pill anyway. When we talk about abortions, we're talking about the vast majority of them are via pill. It's not like we're cutting all these women open and fucking sucking babies out. That's not how this shit works.
No. You get a prescription and they send you home.
Yeah.
A good fact of sexual education to share with the world.
It's like
that
$20.
Plan B exists. Actually, Plan B is $55. There's off-brand versions that are $20. And I think that is a good piece of recommendation. But ultimately, if they don't take a Plan B, or whatever happens after the pregnancy, they should be able to access abortion.
What if they also don't know they need to take it?
What if they took it and it didn't work?
Yeah, there's all these other circumstances. Because maybe they literally were using protection and it failed.
Yeah.
Because those things aren't 100%. You're not going to take Plan B if you're on birth control. You're not going to take Plan B if you used a condom.
Abortion. Hey, I want to ask you this question. Do you think that victims of should be able to access abortion?
No, because they could also take a morning after pill if they get...
Ah! Oh my god, I see why this is the most replayed section. Oh god.
No, maybe she's gonna cook, bro. Maybe she's gonna cook.
Oh.
If I were to get... I would go take a morning after pill the very next day.
Wow. So you think that a victim would have an obligation to maintain a pregnancy? Is that because that if they were to cessate or stop the pregnancy, the fetus would die? Okay, of course it is. So I want to ask you a question. Do you know who Max Irby is?
No.
So Max Irby is a 14-year-old guy, and he's in dire need of a stem cell transplant. And this is a true story. You could look it up. And his stem cell type is so incredibly rare that his father set up a quote-unquote fundraiser for his son, taking random DNA samples in from people across the globe. So far, they've collected 40 million samples, and there hasn't been one match. What this means is that there's probably only one match alive on the face of planet Earth that could provide stem cells to Max Irby to save his life. So let's hypothetically assume that you are the one and only match for Max Irby's stem cell type, and the government finds this out. Then the government forces you to provide your stem cells to Max Irby without your consent for 9 months, introducing many physical and mental complications. Do you think that'd be just?
No.
No, because they shouldn't be able to force you to provide your bodily resources to another life, even if not providing your bodily resources would mean that other life dies. That's my position on victims of. They shouldn't be forced to provide domicile in their uterus and access to their bodily resources to the fetus, even if.
I'm sorry, he provided way too complex of an answer for any of these troglodytes to understand.
It really just went all over their heads.
Yeah, no, every single one of them, you saw it, their eyes glazed over. Their eyes glazed over.
He did cook her. She just conceded to the argument, but I don't think she's aware she just conceded.
No,
so.
She got absolutely roasted, but
Stopping the sustenance of those bodily resources to the fetus means the fetus dies. No difference than Max Irby.
This is a tough one for me because I have mixed feelings about it, obviously, because that's a horrible situation to be in. But I do, like I said earlier, morning after pill.
Well, could you respond to the argument I gave
we have to pause there. You've been voting.
God damn. Okay, yeah. That's where we'll stop that. But oh my god, every time we dive into the psyche of like people that are like just perpetually always Trumpers and stuff, it's just my only response can be like, we fucking need re-education camps. Holy shit. Oh my god, the Republicans did too good of a job dismantling the educational system in this country. They cooked too hard. They overcooked education.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I just live my life. Maybe we are cooked. And then my conscience comes into play and I'm like, no, I can't do that.
Anyway, I think we'll call that. We did a pretty good one. We almost hit 4 hours there. We kind of honestly, we yapped a lot about in between stuff, which was fun. We also got some like random pop culture stuff. Maybe we could start doing a little more of that too. It doesn't always have to be politics. A matter of fact, like we could. This pop.
No, we can talk about whatever the hell we want. Yeah.
Yeah, literally fucking anything. Fucking, I actually was thinking maybe we should do like as a long-term thing, like not like maybe like a couple months down the line, we should do a book, because we were talking a couple weeks ago about books. Like we should pick a book and both read it and do almost like a book review thing, because that might that might be dope.
Do you see how ridiculous this is? This guy likes to be rocked and have his eyes covered. And he falls asleep like this.
Yeah, that's peak baby. That's peak baby.
This is a literal baby cat. Yeah.
Gabby, have you seen Sky's cat?
It's not fair.
She's jealous.
He loves this. And he actively, he demands his eyes be covered. He will try and hide his eyes if you don't cover them with your hands.
Yeah, Sky's saying that he wants to be held, rocked, and have his eyes covered with his hand, so he can take baby nappies.
Where do you find this Max baby creature?
Is this the one you found in the rain?
No, this is Chael. He is the menace of society. He's actually just a little baby, though. I think that's why he's such a menace, why he, destroys shit so often and stuff, is because he just, permanently wants attention and affection and play and treats and such. And every second I'm not giving it to him, he's like, what are you even doing with your life? You're not interacting with me, you're staring at some screen, what the fuck are you doing with your life right now?
What could you possibly be doing that's more important than me? The answer is nothing. I am the center of the universe.
Yeah, I think that's literally his whole thing.
Yeah, because you've been holding that cat for 35 minutes.
Yeah, I sat up a little bit. He left my lap and came back, but it's pretty much been the whole stream. He's been asleep in my lap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at him. He's literally a child.
Yes,
welcome. I uncovered his eyes. Oh, poor baby.
He big mad now. He big mad.
Yeah, he's gonna go throw some shit on the ground. Run the street. I don't know what. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking menace.
I mean, actually. Alright. Let's call it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll call it. See y'all next week, and I'll see y'all not tomorrow. Well, maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. I gotta continue my KDC stream, but I don't know if I close tomorrow. We're definitely gonna continue the KDC stream on Tuesday. Anyway, come watch episode 7 next Sunday, where we'll talk about something. Maybe I thought our random Viltrumite commentary and shit and other random stuff was fun, so we might fucking do some other stuff. We might have to jump into some media to watch at the same time so we can talk about it. Both book, show, movie, something. If we can both consume something and talk about it, that'd be good too.
Yeah, no, we'll figure something out.
We'll branch out. Anyway, night guys. See y'all later.